welcome to day 4 of stage 2 of the Canada division. I'm Jackie Jing with Kix and Intero and Mal, my favorite stuffed koala in the world, and a lot on the line today, everyone. Today's match will determine who is number 1 in the Canada division for stage 2. So very excited about the matchup today. Intero, how are you feeling? Are you taking notes?
I feel great.
Game mindset.
Jackie, I'm always taking notes.
What are you writing down?
I'm always taking notes. Well, I like to write down notes about team stats and have what teams excel on what maps and what players excel on what roles, etc. And sometimes I just scribble for the fun of it, Jackie.
Okay, I was wondering if you were doing like tic-tac-toe with Mel or something over there, but apparently hard at work. Kix, how are you feeling on this Friday?
I'm good. I'm excited for this match because this is pretty much the all-hyped match in the Canadian division. You know, it's always been talked about who's second place in CAD, and well, I guess we're about to find out. The expectation going into this is that Mirage will take the dub, but I don't know. I'm just excited to see the result.
Yeah, me too. But before we get rolling into this matchup, really quickly, a quick word from our sponsor. Take a listen. Welcome back, and very quickly, let's bring up the bracket. So today, like we were telling you at the top of the show, we will watch Mirage versus Altiora. The winner will be number 1 in the Canada division, and they will go to the NA qualifier. So a lot on the line, like I said. And the loser will battle for 2nd and 3rd against Livid. So really excited for this matchup. Again, I have no idea how this is going to go down because both of these teams are quite strong. But let's start chatting about them, and we will begin with Altiora. So Altiora had an impressive win over Nordic last week. I think many of us were favoring Nordic, but Altiora's roster changes definitely proved to be lethal and beneficial. So Kix, how do you think Nordic's rookies are going to fare against Mirage today?
Altiora's rookies?
Altiora's! I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, Altiora's.
I think that overall the new lineup for Altiora has proven to be really solid. I think they weren't... I don't think anyone was expecting them to look as strong as they did when they played against Nordic. I think many would call that an upset, and I certainly would want to be one of those people. The fact that Altiora managed to win against Nordic, not only in the best of 3, but also quite quickly on Coastline in Oregon, 7-2, 7-3, was super impressive. I think the key is going to be how much time Altiora put into practicing between that match and now today. Because Mirage is still, I think for most people, the standout squad in the Canadian division and the number 1. So it's still going to be an upset if Altiora manages to take this.
Okay, and obviously we were talking about the rookies here a little bit. Intero, who do you think are going to be the players to watch? Who are going to be the key players on this team that you think really need to step it up today?
I mean, I think that honestly they're probably going to come in the hands of Mirage. The people, and one of the people that I'm actually going to watch the most is none other than Flynn. He comes in with pretty poor stats, and this isn't just me making fun of Flynn. He plays a very critical role, and he's going up against a team that is going to be extremely proficient in regards to the way that they frag well. Now, obviously, Altiora making some huge changes. Euphoria comes in. He's doing extremely well. I've really liked what we've seen out of Euphoria. We've had some good performances from Quartz and Silent on Mirage. Silent in particular has really shown up, and Mirage have looked a lot deeper than usual. So while I focus mostly on Mirage there, the reason why I'm going to look at them is because I expect Altiora to show up as a team. One of the biggest knocks that we had against Altiora way back was that they played like individuals more than they played like a cohesive unit, and that's why they struggled against some of the other teams in the Canada division last time, particularly Nordic. This time around, Altiora seems to be working together very effectively. I don't think we're going to see any poor performances. If Guns shows up, if we see Euphoria show up, I think that that's going to be enough 1-2 firepower here to compete with the likes of what Mirage has. So for me, the story is the slower starters on Mirage. If they show up, that could give Mirage the edge.
Okay, so really, Altiora just coming together and playing in sync will be crucial for them. But let's talk about Mirage a little bit here. And as both of you have said, many would probably pick Mirage to win this matchup. They won Stage 1, beat Tempo Storm in the qualifier. So, Kix, I want to pick your brain here a little bit. What do you think that they've been focusing on refining during Stage 2? What do you want to see them improve when we watch them play today?
So I've talked about this before, and I'll bring it up again. For Mirage, my main standout point is the fact that they managed to play in the major qualifier, and I think they got a lot of valuable experience in that qualifier as a team. Now, that experience is basically being exposed to not necessarily better teams, that's deceptive, but rather a different meta that is being developed and established separate of your own. The Canadian division is very close in meta to the US division because these teams intermingle, they scrim each other, but actual game day experience is different than scrim experience, and you'll see different strategies brought out and put on display. Because of that experience that Mirage managed to get from playing in that qualifier, they got a wealth of information, and I want them to continue to refine that data and work it into their play style as it appeared and in their first match against Livid they had already done. Just keep working on that. Just iron that out. Get it to be, I guess you could call it a top level of refined understanding of strategy. Mirage's own brand, if you will.
Okay, and then, Taro, you were talking about Flynn and brought up Mirage, obviously, but I was actually thinking that Quartz might be someone everyone should be watching. His stats were pretty impressive against Livid. He had 22 kills. He went +3 in entry, 1 kill per round, 86% cost. But again, I don't know, sometimes the stats look really big and they're not exactly reflective, but do you think that he is a player that they should be watching out for today?
Yeah, I mean, the roles that Quartz is going to be playing on will be roles that will always be involved in opening skirmishes. And I mean, he's going to have some utility work to do, but by and large, he's going to be the person capitalizing off of the droning that's going to be done from the support players on Mirage. And he's going to be the one where if he doesn't show up, his team is going to feel it the most. Now, Silent is also in that same position, and then you've got Loading in a flex position to help out with them. If Silent and Quartz struggle today, I think this will be huge. But like I said, the big thing for me is how do the support players on Mirage show up? Somebody like Zilchi has had some pretty big struggles in big matches before. Ditto with Flynn, who's put on a decent performance up against Livid, but that was a pretty quick match, honestly, for Mirage. So it's hard to really tell how much of that was just Flynn excelling against maybe weaker competition, as Livid made some leaps and bounds against Nordic the next week. So I don't know. There's a lot of question marks here, but I'm excited to get into the match.
Okay, and yes, we definitely want to get things rolling, and I believe we're ready to move into the map selection process, so we're going to try to bring that information up on your screen right now. And gentlemen, tell me what you were thinking for map vetoes. Here it is.
Okay, so we've got Theme Park Clubhouse out. Coastline will be map number 1, one of the more loose maps out there. Villa, map number 2. Actually, middle of the pack in terms of structure versus the potential to be really loose as defenders or attackers. And then Oregon, one of the most structured maps that we have right now, very defender-sided. All right, so interesting lineup. Coastline, Villa, Oregon. So far for Altiora, we've seen them play Coastline and Oregon, and we've seen them absolutely decimate Nordic on both of those maps. So that's going to be something really good for Altiora, having both of those in. Likewise, though, for Mirage against Livid, it was Oregon Villa, and those were also very one-sided maps. So both of these teams are coming into this ban phase with very recent experience, and they are probably going to be pretty comfortable in all of these maps.
Okay. All right. Well, we know what our maps are. So, gentlemen, let's get to the action. I'm going to let you all take it away, and I'll talk to you later. Yay. Super excited. Bye. Bye.
Bye, Jackie. Thank you so much for the toss on over. Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, Mirage might be coming in as the favorite team. They have looked like the best team in the Canada division since this was announced and since we've seen all these levels of play. We had to give the nod to Nordic in the matchup against Altiora, and we're kind of surprised with how poorly Nordic played. Now, there's some weird chess that needs to be played in our brain here, some gymnastics we need to do, Michael, because the Altiora and Nordic match was pretty close in a couple different ways, and then Nordic really struggled against Livid, but Livid really struggled against Mirage. So the question is, are we overrating Altiora because they looked so much better than Nordic, because Nordic actually weren't a very good team? That's the question that I'm going to need answered. And I mean, we will see it answered in game, but right now it's the big question looming over my head.
Yeah, no, it's a really good one, Parker. And the problem is normally we reference... What?
I said, oh, thank you.
Well, it's true, though. The problem is normally we reference things like statistics or past experience. Like, oh, for example, Eska right now is the highest rated player statistically in Stage 2 of the Canadian Division. He plays for Altiora. But that's based on just the 3 maps that he had against Nordic. So what does that really mean? And that's where those mental gymnastics that you were talking about, Parker, come into play. We just don't have a wealth of information to judge these teams on adequately. So we're going to have to leave the judgment based on the results of this actual matchup. We'll start with map number 1, Coastline, Mirage on defense, Altiora on attack, Ban Phase starting out, and Nomad is done away with by Mirage. They want to be more aggressive on defense.
Unsurprising.
Yes.
Unsurprising. Back to the maps just for a second here. Yeah, at first glance, a Coastline and Oregon on the board obviously suit Altiora because those were 2 maps that they beat up Nordic on quite well. However, Mirage is not a bad Oregon team. They had some struggles in Stage 1, but Stage 2, they're looking significantly better on this map. Obviously, that's the tiebreaker. Mirage has Villa to get through first, so they get through Villa. Okay, fine. They at least have like the ace in the hole, which is Oregon, though I suspect it will still end up being quite close. I agree with you that heading into this match, when we set our expectations, Altiora are indisputably, to me at least, the team that is going to be fighting from behind. They are the underdog, so to speak. Actually, I guess there's really no other way to speak about that. They are the underdog coming in here.
Yeah.
Mirage does have great experience, and the winner goes on to fight in the qualifiers. So who's it going to be? Is Mirage going to have another crack at it, or are we going to see a new heir to the throne? That's the question. Operator bans are Nomad and Ace on attack. Mira and Valkyrie on defense. Echo unavailable. Still.
So we still have the Maestro for your information gathering operators, but other than that, the defensive information is rather stifled. I think that's pretty normal. It's only usually doable in competitive play because Echo is permabanned. Or as I try to do this in ranked, then, well, oh boy, still got the Echo in there. Or maybe you forgo the Mira ban and ban Echo instead. That way you don't have to bring IQ, yada, yada, yada. But here, it's a lot simpler. Job done. Defense will play very differently as a result. There's plenty of utility on the defense for the attack to have to chew through, though. You've got a shield on Flynn. You've got the 3 Malusi Wubwubs. You've got the 2 Evil Eyes. It's quite a lot, and that's why you're seeing not only Ash, but also Zofia, and on top of that, Sledge and Iana. You got the full explosive split, apart from Euphoria on the gridlock, just so you can be sure we're not going to have to stress about a shield. That's basically a summary of our current meta in Siege. Ooh, that's a 2-for-1 they're setting up there. I don't know how I feel about that. Put an Evil Eye right next to a shield, and it's just inefficient.
This is the spot that Flynn usually plays out of, and most smokes are usually going to play out of, by the way. It's referred to as Pink Bar Upstairs, or whatever you want to call it, because I know you and I have argued about what people call it.
Let's just not.
I actually don't know anymore which one I called it originally. I
think it was Pink Bar.
I think I called that Pink Upstairs, and I have no idea.
And it got confused because there's that pink
Pink
carpet.
is down below.
There's many pink carpets all over there. I think there's at least 2. But anyway, yeah, it can be weird. I'm working on it. Before February, I'm hoping. The clear seems to want to be upstairs. Quartz is going to try and disrupt that with a C4 from below. He actually might be able to get this if he times it right. Spirits has passed over him. Guns is in the target area. And he misses both opportunities. That is unfortunate.
Tough going, but his position also given away as he'll hang on for dear life, watching. There's one. It's Yana. He'll tussle. Sonar taking a lot of damage. Sonar being the lone American on Altiora's side of things. Loading on Mirage's side. And yeah, Quartz runs the Kickstart charm, by the way, on every single gun, every single day. Does that make your heart swell, Michael?
I'm very grateful. I'm glad he likes the charm. It's good to know.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands of people have the Kickstart charm, by the way.
Yeah, and Quartz is a magnificent player, and I'm not just saying that. He actually, as players go, statistically is number 2 in the Canadian division right now. So he's really been having a good stage too.
Behind Eska.
Behind Eska, yes, who is on the other side of the field from him right now.
So this is going to be interesting to watch. A Gridlock coming out to replace the Nomad. Obviously a targeted ban from Mirage to remove the Moroccan operator. It now forces the Australian flank watch op into play. And the M249 will be the gun in hand, even though the F90 is quite a very strong weapon. I'm actually kind of bummed out that it's not on more operators, because just it feels nice, it shoots nice, and you know what, Michael? It kills nice, if I'm being honest with you. So
I mean, I'll say, Parker, if they did with the F90 as they did with the AK-12, I would be a happy man.
that is true. So Altiora's push is going to come over towards the default plant spot, ping out onto the Evil Eye cam, and well, there goes an Ash charge. Does it connect? We don't know. Sonar very low on HP. Cooking a grenade, it sends out. No ADS to catch it, but Sonar dropped from the cross that leads to the A-bomb site. Spirit's up next with Eska tossing in a frag grenade, and the Yana will have to get picked up with 20 seconds remaining. Altiora will dance around these toxic canisters. As Silent drops through the hatch, he'll have to return to the bomb site. As there it goes, another toxic canister. Flynn doing work, can't control the second as he gets the first kill, but Euphoria is on the board at the beginning. It's both orange and blue side by side as the diffuser goes down, and Quartz and Silent, the 2 young members of Mirage, are going to have to deal with them. But caught through the wall is Quartz. Spirit's trying to lock this one down, leaving Silent in a position to try to retake, but he won't get past guns. Altiora, with the diffuser down, they take round number 1.
Well, I'll be straight with you, Parker. It looked like it was going to be a Mirage round. The time was really low there for Altiora to be executing. But the key factor is that Altiora had sufficient distraction from the flank of the push. And the crossfire that is typical between Hookah and Pink Bar just didn't happen because of that distraction, as Altiora was, I believe, didn't see it because it's not where we were looking, but I believe Altiora was pressuring from the Hookah balcony. Now that distraction, no crossfire, push in through billiards was all timed perfectly by Altiora. They caught Mirage looking the wrong way, not able to muster enough firepower in the correct direction, and that facilitated not only the push, but also the plant from Altiora to turn the timer in their favor. A well-executed round by Altiora, even though they were cutting it close with the timer, they did manage to get their strategy off as planned, and Mirage were unable to do anything about it in the end.
So downstairs to the blue bars, Mirage is going to go, and they're going to bring a very similar looking lineup. No Maestro, that's the only absence. Instead going with the Mozzie, with the pests, I suppose. Working to try and deny any intel that's gained from Altiora as they drone on in. Altiora obviously liking what they see as their lineup will only make one substitution. No Yana, they'll instead roll with the Hibana. The addition of Ace as an operator has now put the attackers on this map in a very weird position because Maverick and Thermite are a little bit too close to the action, so they are almost never seen on Coastline. I would imagine that both of their pick rates are probably sub 5% over the history of Coastline. Hibana has been the hard breacher of the day. With Ace being banned, she's now capable of being played, and she can exert her influence on a number of ways depending on where she is. And I mean, she can also exert her influence by clobbering the defenders, and she'll do just that. Zilchi engaging off of that shield inside of Sunrise proves to be his demise, and Mirage finds themselves trailing early on.
Loading went for a run out there, but unable to actually get anything. Quartz has switched from C4 to Impacts. Loading baiting a run out there, and there it is. Euphoria on White Stairs Repel. He's meant to cut off the rotation. I thought they were trying to bait with the run up by Service, but no. They just wanted to allow for the defenders to rotate up the main staircase. Loading will get his second engagement and kill as he takes down Guns, attempting to control 90. That is huge for Mirage. Now they've not only facilitated their own rotate out, but they've also managed to get control of half of the top floor by controlling 90. All the cards are falling in Mirage's favor right now, and you can see Altiora is reassessing their attack. They're going to have to scale it down and focus up on the bomb site. They have no chance at clearing out the roamers at this point.
Eska looking for anything above right now. Still lots of time, at least for Altiora. That's going to work in their favor, but the fact that they do trail, obviously, a significant downside. And Eska against any of those toxic canisters, or even some of the shrapnel from loading C4, will be enough to remove him. All of that obviously a moot point as he just takes the fight to loading and loses it. Sonar sprints on in, guns down Flynn, and now is looking for yet another over by the rotate to the A-bomb. But it's a 1v3. Mirage in full control, and as long as they don't all peek separately, they should be able to hang on here. Some damage done through the wall, but it's not too much because the bullet pen lowers the damage overall, and Sonar will attempt to plant on the default spot by B-bomb. Mirage hears this, they push on in. Missed opportunity for Sonar onto the head of loading, so the Mozzie will persist. For now, too many angles for Sonar to cover, and Mirage just continuously push up, never conceding any ground. Mirage takes round number 2, both teams tied at 1 apiece.
Well played there to Loading. What a roam. Oh boy. So a big part of that has to do with Quartz and Loading working together. Of course, that impact from Quartz facilitating the run out through the Lamborghini doorway to get the kill on the Gridlock holding the White Staircase. The reason that's significant, in case you didn't catch it as it happened, was Gridlock was single-handedly shutting down not only the White Stairs rotate, containing the roamers to the bottom floor, but also the luggage rotate or even the 90 rotate. It's a 3-lane interval at that staircase, and it's very powerful in locking up coastline. So it's pretty standard for the attack to maybe hold it from the window, hold it from 90, hold it from luggage, what have you, they'll hold it. The attack will try to get a stranglehold on White Stairs. Because of that run out there from Mirage, which was planned, they knew what they needed to deal with. They were able to retake back upstairs. Loading not only took back upstairs, but also established control of 90, which gave him control of basically half of the top floor, forcing the attack to reassess their attack. Now, I know this all sounds like what I was saying during the round, and it is. This is exactly what I was saying. But that's really the sum of the parts here. There's not a lot else to talk about. Mirage played really well on the roam. Altiora did not have sufficient firepower when punching into the site, so their attempted compensation for their fail to clear the roamers really wasn't enough.
All right, back upstairs to Hookah we go, where the emphasis from Altiora before came over towards Aqua. And we saw that the setup from Mirage was expecting that as they pivoted and were holding quite aggressively over by Cool Vibes, where we saw 2 separate members waiting very patiently. Chief among them, the Maestro, who's going to be able to do some great work from that position. Some small changes for Mirage. They're bringing a Kaid. That's about it. So we'll see what exactly that entails. Altiora back to what had worked before, minus the Yana. Obviously, I don't think they got a lot of value or feel that they got a lot of value out of the Yana clone. So instead, you'll go with a Hibana. On a bomb site like Hookah, as long as there's no denial on the wall, those X-Kairos are going to cause some discomfort to the defenders, leading to the wall into that cocktail bar upstairs. Now with the Kaid on the board, that is presumably where it's going to go. And Mirage obviously reading into this, making the right call to bring some denial, which will cause things to be a little bit tougher for Altiora to gain that ground.
Top floor roam clear, working out so far. Mirage primarily centered around Aqua and the bomb site. They do have 1 roamer on the middle, or I guess the bottom floor. But it's not going to be too much of a concern for Altiora as it stands. Spirits will actually attempt to address this head on. Very dangerous. Throws the drone in, instantly destroyed. No information gathered other than there is someone, and he knows he's to the right based on those tracers. So they're not going to know about Quartz, who's playing in the left corner around that door. It's likely the attack, when attempting to take Aqua, will do so from the roof. What a repel from Euphoria. I'm not sure what he's up to, but Quartz reads that perfectly.
Oh, I don't know what he's up to, but he's down now for that one, as it looks like 2 swings over to the Aqua hallway, and Luggage in particular, as Spirits is sent packing. Silent gets the pick onto that one, and it's a 5v3 in favor of Mirage. They are in a very strong position right now. Altiora don't seem to know exactly how to handle this. They're spread out all over the map, lobbing a grenade into pink, and Flynn will have to just move on over, shuffle to save his life. He's got 30 seconds with 1 gas canister left. There is no C4 present, so it will have to be a gunfight to solve this one. Quartz can't deal enough damage on his own, but the rest of his team can get in on it. 1 pick for guns, but that's it. It'll burst the flawless bubble, but Mirage, seemingly confident. Flynn in the same thing he wore at SI 2019, his signature hoodie. And Mirage takes round number 3.
Well, So, to put it bluntly, that right there, that repel from Euphoria was an example of Altiora and Euphoria as an individual thinking that he can get away with more than they really can. And maybe against another team, they might have been able to, but not against Mirage, and that much was made clear by that round. Also, the take into Aqua, I struggle to understand why Altiora is attempting to take Aqua only from Luggage. The strength of an Aqua take, and the reason why Aqua as a room is very commonly used as beachhead to facilitate the rest of an attack, is because the attack can play on the balcony, on rappel, of the doorway, the big double door that Quartz ran out of. Like, there's a lot of options for the attack outside of just a Luggage funnel. And because Altiora was funneling through Luggage door, and there were 2 defenders in Aqua, 1 on each side of the doorway, it was basically a death sentence. An easy solution would have been Euphoria instead trying to take from the Aqua balcony, adding another dimension to that attack. I'm not sure why that didn't happen.
Well, it probably didn't happen because they lost 2 people early, Michael.
They did lose 2 people early, yes, but still, the Euphoria repel is like, that's where I'm calling in the question here, regardless of the manpower.
Oh, that was greasy. Mirage just toying with its food right now. They've gone for runouts, or at least swings on every round so far. I think actually, Mirage has gone for a cheeky play, and I mean even Zilchi earlier when he was in the bar downstairs, he went for an aggressive play that was maybe poorly advised. Now it's going to be Silent dancing with the Devil over by the doorway to Hookah. He just narrowly misses out on the Yana clone. Eska gets things started with a pick onto Quartz. And now Silent needs to be very wary of where that clone is going to go. Should expire relatively soon. Silent gets away. There goes the clone. All the intel that was gained will allow Altiora to know that they've got control of the top half of the map. But they're going to need to work a little bit harder, as this is a penthouse theater defense, by the way. No kitchen for Mirage in this rotation.
Yeah, it's a very odd bomb site for sure. But we'll see if it works for Mirage. At least they are going to get a response to Quartz's death as they take down Euphoria. That's the gridlock, your typical flank watch. The array seems to be based on an aggressive hold of the penthouse itself. Flynn's opened up this wall, and he's assisting Zilchi in holding the hallway and VIP, as you can see. Even all the way, he's got an angle all the way into Luggage, I believe that was. So this is a really interesting setup, but it's very vulnerable to that vault that we just saw Sonar lose the fight on, actually. I was about to say VIP could be taken by Altiora, but Flynn stops that before it even starts.
All right, at least a decent answer back. Now, I don't know what Dual Guns is involved in, but he's almost lost it as well. There goes loading. Not loading. Name obviously doesn't fit. Eska finds kill number 2. Missed call on to Flynn, as now they will continue to push on up, and unfortunately, that's poorly advised. Zilchi guns down. Guns, Spirits in a 1v2. 40 seconds left. He's inside a VIP. Lots of these walls opened up. and he can now take control of Penthouse as well. He's got the diffuser in hand, so he could bait one out quite easily. Sees Flynn, but it's a missed opportunity. Smoke goes off and it's not close enough. Spirits will swing up. I don't know if he's aware of how close Flynn is to him, as both members of Mirage are going to push from either side. Down he goes. Zilchi gets credited with that final kill, and it's a perfect rotation from Mirage.
That's a great example of sometimes you just need to pick an angle. And you're not always going to guess right, but better to pick one than be wrong about both by constantly switching between them. Okay, so that setup there for Mirage was actually really neat. I like the way that they were using the crossfire between Penthouse and 90 as a containment for not only VIP, but the VIP hallway. Once the shield was destroyed at 90, though, the containment within VIP was lost, and the opportunity for the attack to take VIP and then launch an attack onto the rest of the bomb site presented itself. However, at that point, Altiora had already lost way too much manpower. So, due to the constant loss in players on Altiora, and then the delayed realization of their opportunities, they did actually eventually manage to get control of VIP. But it was just spirits alone. So it didn't amount to anything. A+ setup there for Mirage. They really knew what they were getting themselves into. They knew what they were going to be confronted with by Altiora. By Altiora. And Mirage got the better of their opponent, just based on a very odd setup that I wholeheartedly approve of.
It's kind of surprising to see a Penthouse Theater defense work out, actually.
It was very different from the old ones, for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like I'd have to pull the numbers on it, but I feel like that's not the first time we've seen it in the Canada division.
I'll take a look.
I believe Nordic and Altiora actually played on that bomb site, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong, but I was a bit confused as to how it wasn't Kitchen for Mirage, but
okay.
Even though the double bars are open for them to go back to, Mirage is going to go with the 4-site rotation here.
So they're
going to be playing over in Kitchen, and it seems to be a decently standard take with the wall reinforced pantry. Rotation open, some of bathroom opened up as well.
So stage 2, it has not been played according to these statistics. In stage 1, it wasn't played either in the Canadian division. But that's according to these stats here. It's actually, believe it or not, Parker, it's not even listed. So, I don't know. Maybe these stats are deceptive, but yeah, based on what I have, no.
Oh, look, another Kickstar charm from Quartz. That's so weird.
It's almost as if he uses it every round.
Every round on every operator. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's very flattering.
You owe it to yourself. If you've never talked to Quartz, you owe it to yourself to talk to Quartz.
I have talked to Quartz. We've played ranked together many times. Yeah, I mean, we're acquainted. He's a ranked gunner. And those are.
No, I mean, he's a Canadian division gunner as well, from what we've seen.
Yes, number 2 in the Canadian division for stage 2, but could be number 1 after this match ends. We'll see how the stats pan out.
Well, right now he's doing a tiny bit better than Eska, but it's not a huge difference.
Yeah. And Eska does have, I believe, a kind of a substantial lead, so.
Yeah, you got to make up some ground here. I'm sure he's probably not thinking about that. I'm sure a victory for the team is what's more important.
Yep.
Eska's entry, by the way, we talked about him. He's been doing much better. That's his 3rd opening pick so far. Altiora leads with opening duels in every single round. It comes at a perfect time as guns and sonar take tiny bits of damage. They're going to look to cut off some of this bomb site and rush in with their own smoke grenades in play. Sonar gets just absolutely pulverized by Flynn in this rad angle. He gets the Zof as well, shotgun out, but he can't see him. He'll collect it. A second kill for Eska as there's no shotgun ammo left for Flynn. So he's going to have to deal with the SMG. He gets the kill before getting shut down, and Euphoria will have to head in as Silent watches over him. The Silent Guardian, the watchful protector. Mirage takes their 4th round in a row.
All right, so a lot has been said about Flynn. The discussion has been had that he has not been contributing sufficiently enough to Mirage to justify his position. However, in that round, he called it a rat angle, and, well, he got the kills. So Yes, but also good job to Flynn. Just barely having visual on the outside of that that smoke sphere. And it seemed like the attackers, as they were rushing through the smokes, did not see him because the smoke will obscure your vision if you're inside of it. He manages to pick up 3 very important, very impactful frags and do damage to basically the entire attacking team with his gas canisters. So you gotta love the on-the-toes play there from Flynn and his ability to shut down that assault before it even really got started. That was a hero's effort, and Mirage are starting to stretch their lead as a result of plenty of rounds like that. Not only from Flynn, but really the entire team of Mirage. I mean, look at the scoreboard. Very
They called
even.
him out, by the way.
Who did you call out?
I called out Flynn.
Oh.
I said as my job, as I was ordained to do, as an analyst, I said they're going to need a big game out of Flynn so far, and they've gotten it. The Silent's going to go for another run out. His position given away. He's a bit too quick. He's not going to get punished for that. He'll have no problem getting right back into the building. But this is yet another round. Is that all 6 rounds where Mirage has gone for something a little cheeky? I think so. I haven't exactly kept track of it. I know 5 so far for sure. As Altiora will now pressure over by the bomb site, which is down in double bars.
I think half of the intent with those cheeky plays is psychological damage. If you do manage to get a pick on a run out like that, it really does dishearten your opponent. That clear over by the default plant spot where the shield was very efficiently executed there by Altiora. You didn't hear any waste, so that's good stuff there. Altiora managed to make sure they can get control of the plant spot when they actually want to execute onto the site. And they've got control above, too. Look at that. Hookah quickly established favor attack, and they've got a sledge to open up the floor.
Down below, waiting, trying to provoke a fight. Flynn with shotgun in hand. Quartz will start things off. That's the power of the Kickstar charm right there. And he gets the diffuser with it as well. Sonar not having the best in terms of stats. And that's the set of smokes down on his hands. Thankfully, they have the backup for Euphoria. Not really tussling too much with any form of clearing here, as we've seen a lot of these grenades and projectiles from Altiora land quite successfully. There was one frag grenade that went off that wasn't really capable of doing too much. Loading with a kill onto Eska. So now your grenades are gone. Things for Altiora not going so well. Mirage is playing Coastline like the Funhouse was born to play, just running around, making sure that they are constantly on the move. And Altiora have had, on a number of these rounds, very large difficulties determining the remaining location of these Mirage players. I say this because 4 of these 6 rounds, Altiora had an advantage by getting the first pick, and then they squandered it ultimately through the mid to later rounds.
That's a big pick there. Speaking of, onto Zilchi. Massive, actually, as it opens up the field for Spirits to engage the rest of the Sunrise Bar. He's got to be careful, though. There's still a manpower advantage for the defense. Default plant, though, in control of Altiora. They're going to start trying to plant, possibly fake out, and it'll work to do some damage to Flynn. The gas canister misses. That's crucial. Spirits is going to be able to stick this, and we're looking at a post-plant. A 2v4, though, as Quartz gets 1. Spirits will shut down Silent on the pixel angle, and that's a great kill from Guns, supporting his teammate. C4 goes out. Pistol wins, though. It's Quartz at a 1v1 with Guns. He's only got 30 seconds to work this. He will reload his primary. The last attacker sounds like he's above, and as he hears the impact by Blue Stairs, he'll know it. He's going to try and stick it. This will be close, but the win for Guns. Altiora take the round, and boy, was it a close one.
Wow, wow, wow. That was... We're going to need an instant replay on that one with how close it was. Kind of surprised because Quartz could have gotten off of that diffuse and challenged into the doorway. The positioning of the Zofia was given away with the impact that landed onto the barbed wire. Now, obviously, given the fact that the Zof is above, the bomb, or the diffuser rather, is planted far enough away from the bomb. It's such a bad habit to call it a bomb. In a part of the map that you can't shoot through the floor of. So
it's on the test server, Eska.
Yes, it's not live.
He figured it out.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, Quartz was kind of damned if he did, damned if he didn't there. He falls off. You know, he started defusing with what, 29, 28 seconds on the clock, something like that. You get off, you win the gunfight, you get right back on. Perfect. You've got tons of time because you've still got at least double the length of that disable to go. Problem is, if that impact was a bait, you've just fallen off the diffuse and now you have to go back on, and that's when they can jostle as much time as possible.
Yeah.
The Zelf was sprinting though, so I'm not sure if he just was having problems hearing or not, but man, he was so very close. But close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and in that case, neither involved. So
how does the scoring of horseshoes work actually? Because I've never played it before.
So you have a sandy pit or a grassy pit or whatever, and you stick a spike in it, okay? And then you throw the horseshoe, and depending on how close the horseshoe gets to that spike, that pole,
right,
the more points you get. If you get a ringer and it goes around it, maximum points.
Okay.
If the horseshoe touches the pole but doesn't rope around it, you get a little bit less points, similar to darts with a bullseye. Then the farther you go, eventually it falls off.
Well, that certainly is interesting, Parker. And you know what else is interesting? The Rainbow Six Share program skins. They are fantastic. They're all really quite interesting. You're definitely going to want to go ahead and check them out. They're in the store. There is an esports tab, so it's easy to find them. And don't forget, these bundles do directly support Rainbow Six Esports and your favorite teams, especially if you get one, like let's say you're a TSM fan, you could pick up the TSM set. That goes straight to them. It's really good for overall the flourishing of the esports scene, so don't forget, if you've got the time and the inclination, go ahead and check those out.
That was a good transition, by the way.
Thank you, Parker.
Yeah, I really appreciate that one.
Yeah, it's fun to always come up with those on the fly, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes nail them, sometimes they're catastrophes.
Attackers have located a bomb.
I find the catastrophes much more entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, yeah. But they're also a little embarrassing.
No, not at all.
Not at all, no, okay.
All right, so let's assess what's going on here. These teams really like the same lineup on attack. Smokes being brought, grenades being doubled up on, one hard breach in the Hibana, as that's what Flynn is going to play predominantly. And it should strike people as no surprise that Hibana is going to get played due to the fact that she is unbanned. So Altiora will sit pretty over by the double bars. Their defense is going to look eerily similar to what we saw out of Mirage. However, a key difference is that the SAS operator, who's a smoke on Mirage's side, will be a mute on Altiora's side. And there you go. So this will be likely a reaction to the Lion that was shown before it got 6th picked off of to the Yana. And I can't say I blame them. Even if there's no Lion present, a mute's still not too bad here to shut down some of these lines of sight. Involved in the first fracas are Quartz and Guns comes out on the losing end of that one, but Spirits refrags on to loading as the Jaeger is upstairs and punishes Mirage, who didn't have anybody watching on the flank. That might have been Zilchi's job, but he's downstairs toiling near the main lobby.
Ooh, that's unfortunate. I'll probably get the drone as well as the Malusi Wub, and, well, I didn't see the drone, but Nade does at least get the first objective. Second nade, the second objective. Spirits goes down. A great read there from Quartz. Silent will also add to that by taking out Euphoria, leaving just Eska and Sonar. But there's only 10 seconds left, and as Eska gets down in the site, it's all on Sonar to stop a plant. It's not gonna happen. Mirage, an absolute sweep as they come into the site.
And this could be a 6-1 if that final round breaks differently. If there's 1 nanosecond extra on the clock, then Mirage ends up coming out ahead. Regardless, they've got lots of breathing room over Altiora. And I think right now, given that this is Altiora's map, what we are starting to see, and the feeling I am starting to get, is that Altiora beating Nordic, it was still kind of close on 2 of the maps.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show me that Altiora probably hasn't improved as much as we thought. It was Nordic taking a massive step backwards. And that's at least how I'm seeing it right now.
Also, Livid took a huge step forwards. I think
Also true.
Yeah, they did get wiped by Mirage. It was 7-4, 7-3 in a best of 3 series. But Livid did better in some of those maps than than Nordic did against Altiora. I mean, the last 2 maps of Altiora Nordic were 7-2, 7-3. That was a completely one-sided ordeal for Altiora over Nordic. So again, Parker, we're always talking about who's this number 2 team in the Canadian division. I think that Altiora is definitely making a good bid for that. But now, instead of the deciding factor being, determined here today in this match, I'm kind of thinking, and I know this is really me jumping the gun, I'm kind of getting this vibe like it's more going to get decided in Livid versus Altiora in the losers final.
With the way Livid played, I'm actually very excited for that matchup should it happen. I mean, we're obviously getting well ahead of ourselves right now.
I'm definitely
entirely possible that Altiora storms back in this map and then wins map 2.
Yeah.
We have to wait and see. But regardless of who wins this map, I'd still like to see Altiora versus Livid.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Even if it was in some other match, well, I'm sure we'll get an opportunity to see that one, no matter what. It just take longer than we would expect. But right now, it's certainly looking like Mirage is the more refined team. That's the vibe that I'm getting. Too early to determine, though. Kitchen defense for Altiora. This will be their second defense overall, so they haven't actually had a lot of time to establish their second half, and maybe Altiora is better on the defensive half. Maybe they've got some amazing things to show us here, but not just yet.
I like the play that we're seeing from Altiora here on defense, and I mean, it works out quite well. Zilchi gets punished on a solo entry over by Billiards. Spirit's waiting patiently inside of Aquarium, and that patience pays off.
What?
Will there be a follow-up from Mirage is the question. It's a fallback now from the Jaeger, who will head towards luggage. I've already made the pack his bags joke, so I can't make it again, but I really wanted to right there. Eska dropped by loading, and now Spirits' adventure has headed on over towards theater. Damn, I could have said Spirited Away. Michael, I'm just missing out on all these opportunities right now, and I know I said Spirited Away, and I'm sure Jackie probably just blew up with glee. But
I mean, I like Spirited Away, too. It's not my favorite Hayao Miyazaki.
we don't need to talk about anime, it's fine.
But it's certainly in my top 4. I'd say my number 1
You know what's in my bottom everything?
Nosco, the Valley of the Winds, my number 1. Personally.
Spirits ready to fight. Yana, what a great shot on the loading. That probably isn't the fight that loading should have taken. I can call him Chase because we're friends. Guns drop to 50 HP, loses his shield. He hits the deck as all the Lions roar will go off. Grenade sails on in and it'll catch onto Guns. Anticipating a push from main lobby, but now Quartz has pivoted with the SMG. Beautiful shot on the Spirits. Down goes Silent, so Mirage will have to fight onto a 2v2. 50 seconds left. The Lion sustaining some damage amidst the smoke, trying to get a plant down as Flynn holds on to that diffuser. Sonar now no longer available to use any, or no gas canisters rather, available. Not looking great for Altiora with the 2 players they have remaining. Not hot shots in terms of the kill feed, but you've got 2 here for Mirage, and Flynn will be in a 1v1 against the Maestro of Euphoria. Ping's going through the wall, and, well, it's reinforced. The Maestro will make a ton of noise. 20 seconds left. The Lion going for the plant. Euphoria will need to make something work with this. His advance will come through the bathroom. The ping is there, but Flynn has fallen off very wisely. This is a game of cat and mouse that will favor Euphoria. Flynn taking the fight, and there's a ton of pre-fires because he's got 81 bullets. You're not going to make it through that alive at all. Flynn gunned down, and Altiora finds their 3rd round of the match.
Well, I didn't see it, nor did I count it, so I can't really say for certain, but I have to hope that Flynn did not have any of his ability left. He did not, so you can see it in the replay. There we go. Didn't have any ability left, so he wasn't able to use that to facilitate a plant. The biggest mistake that Flynn made in that clutch situation is the Evil Eye on the wall was giving constant information to the last defender, Euphoria. Even though the Evil Eye was pointed towards service entrance and the Lion was trying to plant in the kitchen, the sound of the plant was still better heard by the people on the camera than it would have been heard by the Maestro himself. So Euphoria knew exactly what was happening in his bomb site there. Flynn had 2 choices: stick a plant or rush the fight. He could not be indecisive. He was, and, well, Euphoria played it better. So, well done to Altiora. That war of attrition that happened over by the kitchen boiled down to, in the end, the 1v1 due to some misguided pushes from Mirage and some poorly timed holds from Altiora, or rotates even, in the site. So, yeah, I mean, that really could have been anyone's round. It was a lot of just happenstance on the gunfights, and you see rounds like that occasionally. That one was a good example. There wasn't a whole lot of how do I put this? There wasn't a whole lot of focused strategy from Mirage, which is, I think, the thing that I find most confusing. Like, they certainly had an execution plan, and they were doing a decent job of controlling their angles within the site, but it just felt lackluster when compared to many other Mirage rounds we've seen from them.
I mean, they threw the Lion in last minute as a 6 pick, likely to try and confuse or at least catch Altiora off guard. They realized that experiment was not the most successful, which is why they've now run with the Hibana instead, which is much more standardized here on Coastline, because
yeah,
even though this is the one map where you can successfully attack all 6 rounds without a hard breacher, Hibana sure does help. This has been an issue for Mirage now 2 rounds in a row, is that they didn't have anybody watching. And it happened in the first round as well. Even though they got the opening pick on the bars, it was answered back because nobody seems to be watching this flank that's been presented by Altiora, and Spirits in particular has been great at it. Zilchi cut down before he can accomplish anything 2 rounds in a row. Smokes off the board. An oppressive gadget off the board. A solid gun in the C7E off the board.
Oh.
Not exactly where you want to be if you're Mirage.
There actually was an attacker directly above Guns just now, and I guess it wasn't called by Eska, but Flynn is long gone now, and the pre-placed C4 from Guns will be unlikely to see success, and certainly not going to see success as Flynn gets him from, I believe, the drop. Didn't actually see where, but wherever, the kill is there, and now manpower is equalized. So, job done there for Flynn, who has been a standout for Mirage so far through this map. Nothing else coming just yet. They are going to get another onto Spirits, who is exposing himself to the balcony. Esco at least will respond with his C4 from below. That's the Pulse, of course, using his heartbeat sensor to great effect. But Sonar has eaten a lot of damage in the B bomb site, and now the advantage is soundly in Mirage's favor, especially as Quartz lands a nade from below.
That was well played. Quartz obviously pivoting and heading downstairs after the call was made with Eska's C4. They've also opened up on Mirage's side much of the second bomb site. So now it's going to come down to a brawl where the Maestro is trapped inside a hookah, and, well, take a deep breath, because there you go. Mirage on match point loading in particular. Well, he finds 1 and then 2.
I mean, it's certainly seeming like a lot of these gunfights. Okay, we've got rounds where Altiora and Mirage find each other, and there's like an engagement ensues, right? And like there's a battle, a team fight between the 2 squads. And then we've got rounds like that where it just appears that Altiora are getting eviscerated whenever anyone from Mirage finds them. Those are the 2 types of rounds we're getting in this match so far. And that round just now was a great example of the latter.
Well, you'd criticize their strategy, and I guess on that round, didn't have to worry about too much. They got the clear down below, still lost it on the entry with Spirits getting that very first pick, but then putting the pressure from the X-Kairos onto the wall upstairs in the bar forced the defenders out of their spot by the pool table. And when the Pulse came back to the bomb site, the 3 members of Altiora were basically barricaded in a hookah. It's very easy if there's no ADSs or no magnets on the board to just lob in flashbangs or grenades. One of those grenades actually happened from below, as you pointed out, from the Sledge of Quartz, who's now on 13 kills.
Jeez.
I would say with 5 and 3 for Eska and a 13 and 6 for Quartz that he is storming up the leaderboards. We'll need a breaking news bulletin from Siege GG to confirm these stats. Of course, it's been able to wrestle it away, but I think their stats are going to go with this matchup. If Altiora ends up coming out ahead, I think you're going to need a much better performance from Eska, and those stats would reflect that, but that's just us speculating. This is Altiora's map, and they're on the ropes on match point against Mirage. 10th round. They've got 3 rounds to try and sort this out and push their team to overtime.
That'll be based on the default cam, I believe, there for Guns. Silent is trying to pressure from the balcony, and he'll rush on in. Someone's on that cam. He'll call it out now. There it is. And boom goes the dynamite. Down goes Silent. Altiora, 1 man up. And as you said, Parker, this has been a reoccurring thing for both of these teams. Well, Altiora gets the lead-off kill, and then Mirage somehow manages to, sometimes much later, sometimes right after, like in this case, get a response. And this time it's Euphoria who goes down.
The crazy thing for me is that Mirage have only won 3 opening duels out of the 9 rounds. They've won 3.
Yeah.
That's it. And they won 2 of those rounds. They dropped another one. So that means that Altiora is cleaning up, and it's not proving all that useful. They have very limited success to show from it. I have no doubt that it must be very frustrating. And Yana Clone gets spotted now as we hit the halfway mark. So the frustration on behalf of Altiora, well, they've lost Euphoria. So what are they going to be able to do? That's the real question.
We'll find out the answer in about a minute here, as both of these teams set up to confront each other. Guns is on a flank route. He wants to come in through security. That's a very funneled flank. It's not easy to pull off, and there's plenty of players in Mirage and Office waiting to shut it down. Sonar will win an engagement over by Vase Blue Stairs. That's big. Regains the man advantage for Altiora. This is going to be good information gathering from Loading on the Yana. He'll pull out a nade to force that roamer off, but, well, Guns is already pretty far out. Ooh, he retakes control of security, and there's the engagement. Loading wins it. A great read there from Loading. Mirage back in this round at 3-3. And as the engagements continue to fly out, it's a constant back and forth. Now 2-2. Sonar is also retaking control above, which is huge. Flynn will try to plant behind the blue bar. There is no C4 to deny this right now. Upstairs is the only one. That's Sonar. He won't have the angle. So in a post plant, 2v2, Altiora has to find these attackers before they can play the objective. One of them inside of Garden. Eska doesn't seem to know. He's certainly giving away his intent. A great read from Loading. Here's the vault, and there's the second. The third overall for Loading in the round, and Mirage will take the first map.
Flynn very excited. Look at that. Loading. Stone-faced on the right-hand side. Mirage absolutely stomping down Altiora on their first map. That was a quick one. We've not even been in the broadcast for an hour yet, Michael. That is absolutely insane. And this one is already over. That means that next up on the docket, Mirage's pick on Villa. They must be feeling very comfortable about this after that first map.
I would imagine so, but that's it for us for now. We'll be back after this short break with map number 2.
Welcome back. Mirage coasting through coastline, beating Altiora pretty swiftly. I'm Jackie Jim with Kixon and Taro, and let's roll through the highlights, gentlemen, and talk about the map's top plays.
Why do you say Jackie Jing, but then you don't say Parker Mackay and Michael Stockley?
Well, because y'all have your gaming handles, and I had my gaming handle, but then everyone was like, nobody knows you by that, so then I just do Jackie Jing.
Well, Jackie Jing does
You
have
should
a
call
ring.
yourself like Maverick, or like Goose or Iceman or something.
I mean, those are all pretty good gaming handles.
I like Jackie Jing. It has a ring to it, you know.
Yeah, I
Jackie
feel like
Jing has a
it
ring.
could pass as a real name as well.
JJ
All right,
Ring?
I'm Jackie Jing, and I'm with Parker McKay and Michael Stockley.
McKay. Oh my God.
Oh my
Mackay.
gosh.
It's Michael
Did I say
Stackley and Parker
Mackay?
McKay.
Okay, moving on, y'all. We didn't talk about the highlights at all, and we have like 10 seconds left.
That's okay. I mean, people are seeing them on their screen right now. The whole match was pretty much Mirage highlights, barring a couple good rounds from Spirits and Euphoria's clutch that just took place right there. I think that was also of note. But ultimately, I hate to say it, but a lot of these Altiora kills and a lot of these Altiora rounds were team efforts, not individual standouts, other than Spirits' roaming. There really isn't anything that I think I can thrust on a single person, and the fact that Kix is nodding, I would say that he probably agrees with that.
Yeah.
So it's Parker McKay and Michael Stockley.
Stackley.
And I said Peter Mackay or Parker. Oh my God. Okay, I'm done. Let's talk about the game. I'm sorry, Kix. I cut you off. It's a Friday, y'all. I'm like so done talking.
Yeah.
Jackie
Just do the
Jane.
rest. I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm just ignoring me over here.
So, I'll be blunt basically with how I'm feeling about this
Yes.
matchup right now. My really blunt feelings, to be 100% candid, is that currently Mirage, we all knew this, but they are not only leading the Canadian division, but it seems as if they're in that kind of dream space where they lead and they define the meta of the region, and on top of that, every team is chasing them. Currently, Mirage look as effectively within their own region, somewhat untouchable. And that is a very rare thing to see. We've seen examples of that throughout history. A lot of you are going to think of Penta/G2 back in the day, or Evil Geniuses in North America. And those are kind of exceptional circumstances where not everyone around a team has yet to catch up to that team. And I think we're seeing that on display here today. I did expect more from Altiora, and I know that I'm calling this kind of early since we've only seen map number 1. But as a reminder, that was, I believe, Altiora's map. So if they're going to fare that poorly on the map they're most comfortable with, I'm worried about Altiora on now Mirage's most comfortable map.
Okay, so Kix, we keep on talking about the competition to be second in the CA division. But what is Mirage doing that makes them stand out so much from the rest of CAD, as you like to call it? Like, why are they just so extremely dominant?
Well, mostly, I would say it's mostly going to come down to their exposure to other metas. That is where we see teams slingshot past others in their region. We've seen this example, especially with APAC, when APAC teams like Fnatic, for example, were exposed for the first time to international lands. They were able to gather more information not only on their competition, but on the depths of Siege knowledge that exist elsewhere. I think that Mirage not only gets the most of that because they're typically the team, well, they were the team that made it to the qualifier, but also I think that these guys just have a wealth of knowledge already. They had it from the get-go. And the more they get to play in outside of their own division, the better Mirage will be. The more other teams within their division play against them, the better those teams will be. And it's just going to be a learning process for a long time. I will say that the Canadian division is learning faster than any region I've ever seen before. And it probably has to do with their proximity to the U.S. division.
Well, that was a great answer. Parker, I was going to ask you a question, but apparently our players are ready to roll.
My bad.
I'm cutting you off.
You can ask me it, and then I can answer it in the transition.
Okay, well, my question was actually going to be that Altiora got the first pick in a few rounds, but I couldn't quite understand why they weren't able to capitalize off of it and not gain control. So, Peter and Malachi, take it away. I'm done. I'm sorry.
All right, that was a
Get
good
me
one. I'll
outta
give you
here.
that one. Why could they get the opening picks and then accomplish nothing with it? That's a great question, actually. And through the 10 rounds, 7 of those rounds ended up going to a place where Altiora had an advantage for a large enough period of time to denote that they got that opening pick. No trades, and obviously Mirage didn't get them. After they got their opening pick, Mirage was pretty decent in hunting down the offsite player or still being able to carry out their task with what they had left. A number of the opening picks, when we saw them on attack, ended up being Zilchi. Zilchi had a job to stay above his Jackal and use his gadget to pin down the roamers, but the rest of the drone work and the play of Quartz and Silent and Loading were good enough to find them. There were also a couple rounds on attack where Loading was able to close that gap by immediately getting a 2-piece by picking off one member and then immediately pivoting to where he knew he was going to get pushed from the second, and there was no real strategy there from Altiora to maybe try to space them out. They just immediately went for it, and unfortunately they came up empty-handed, and Mirage was able to capitalize off of that. Other than that, it was just them playing defense quite well. They obviously had a strategic element to their setups that played effectively against even greater numbers than they had. So with that said, if Mirage was indeed the better strategic team, that should be evident on this map. Villa is a very strategic map. Teams like to try to fit into whatever system they have and play off of that. And this is one of Mirage's best maps as well, if not their best map. So expect for them to do quite as well, or expect them to do quite well.
Yes. That expectation is certainly there. Altiora at least gets to start on defense. Mirage on attack. Ban phase for the attack is done. Thatcher and Ace. Oh boy. It's going to be an interesting attacking half for Mirage and Altiora alike. That is a very crippling combination in banned operators, especially on a map like Villa. However, I think the Mirage will be able to figure out ways around that. Now, Mira also banned out. Very standard here. Likely to be a Valkyrie, so you can contain IQ. Make her not necessary. But no, it's a Melusi. So IQ might be necessary with Valkyrie in play. A reminder, Echo is permabanned. Or at least right now he is. And we'll see when that actually goes away. But yeah, Valkyrie might be necessary. You're also going to need less explosives, though, so it kind of balances out. The lack of Melusi really does open up your operator selection palette. That might be why she gets banned out there. It might also just be because Melusi is a pain to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, we also saw Mirage using Melusi quite effectively, so
True.
that could just be a response. So that would be my guess if I would put that one down, Michael.
I
That's
am
what
writing
would
it
say.
down right now, Parker.
Please have that noted in the records.
Parker's guess.
Mhm.
Melusi banned
Defenders
because
protect your
Mirage
bombs from being
used
defused by
exceptionally.
attackers.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
All right. Well, Aviator Games will be the site for Altiora to start on. Altiora will also start on defense on Oregon if needed. Not a given. Not a given that it's needed. And frankly, if I'm a betting man, not exactly sure how Altiora is going to fare here. But they're going to look to try to set a pretty decent tempo. The lineup will be involving Valkyrie, who was banned on Coastline.
10 seconds left.
Tempo
She is
plays in North
particularly
America.
strong on Coastline. I'm sorry, what was that, Michael?
Tempo plays in North America
5 seconds remaining.
in the T1 NA.
No way you're doing this
Or
to
sorry,
me.
in the T1 US division.
Locate a
No
bomb.
way you're doing this to me.
Attackers
At
will
least
drop
they
the
play
bomb.
in the US division for now.
Attackers
No way
recovered
you're-
the diffuser.
Oh my god.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Attackers have located a bomb.
You killed them.
Sorry.
911, I'd like to report a murder.
I have faith in Tempo, you know. I mean, maybe. Sorry, we're getting distracted. This is an Altiora Mirage match, but no,
Yeah, but I mean, nothing's happened.
I'm just kidding
yet.
around, guys. I'm just kidding around. It's all jokes.
This is what we have come to see is a very common defensive structure. The panel that leads into games is shot open. You can fall back if there's a deployable shield there. Sometimes Goyo is played on this map in that position. Obviously, you look on the left-hand side of your screen, there's no Goyo, but the beautiful archway is actually blocking the rotation that's there. So what will teams do? Well, they'll play at the corner of the stairs where Guns is playing at the end of Classical Hallway. Spirits will be there as well, and they'll stack up ADSs and magnets, so they can't be flashed off of that position. That often puts the attackers in an uncomfortable situation where they just need to engage, and the carbine in the hands of Jaeger is good enough to just punish anybody in that position. If he's not looking, it could end up being Loading who gets beaten to the punch here as he tries to use his pea shooter to shoot away at some of the gadgets discovered from the IQ scanner.
Not going to be able to get any of them, unfortunately for him. He got a few in the sight. That's going to be one set of Excaros dealt with there by Guns, who just pushes up on main stairs and shoots it away. Mirage need to do better with their clear. Oh, and Eska just inches away from a kill, and the opportunity walks away. Oh, that is so unfortunate. Loading will not die to the roamer, but Guns at least gets Zilchi. And oh, as Eska creeps up, this could be a good one. Here comes the rush, and the timing is bad. Read well by Loading and Mirage. They will take out Eska, who had many a chance, but no actual solid kill.
With a minute left, Mirage is knocking on the door. That was very strange how he flashed through the door to the right, but that wasn't enough to catch the magnet that was on the left. But all right, I guess that's how it works. Quartz thinks he has somebody locked down over by the bar. Default plant is on the board, but Quartz will need to be the one to plant it. With how good he's been, I could see him maybe jostling that diffuser to somebody else. Toxic canister goes off, and he'll start to just absolutely do a little bit of damage to Silent. Chip away at it, as I was going to say. Down goes Quartz after the team kill. Everything falling apart, just like my casting. Not the greatest right now. Loading and Flynn engaged, and they're all falling to pieces. Loading will march into the bomb site. He catches one, looks into the vault, but all hope is lost. Altiora gets round number 1 on a pretty good hold. My brain stopped working halfway through that.
That's okay, Parker. It happens.
I was going to say chip away with, and then I stuttered.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Chips.
Chips ahoy.
Where is this product placement coming from? How much did they pay you?
I'll never tell.
Cannot divulge the details of your contract. But yeah, so that round, well, Mirage cleared just about everything except for top main stairs, which I find perplexing because they were also trying to take into study, and they were also trying to work from below. So it's almost like Mirage were avoiding the issue that was top main stairs. And that is not the right way to go about it, generally speaking. You can do that, but only if the other team lets you. The example that I would use to try and get across the point that Altiora did not let Mirage avoid the top main stairs is when Flynn was trying to open up the aviator wall, and the Wamai just walked up and shot those Excaros from top main. So that's kind of case in point, I guess. Mirage need to be a little bit more thorough with their execution. I know Altiora kind of slacked on map number 1, but they're not that much of a slacker team.
No, I mean, I think that this is still closer than that 7-3 shellacking that they gave them was. And I mean, it was a very dominant performance, right? Like, don't get me wrong. Mirage more than earned that, and Altiora made some significant missteps that they're going to need to correct here. It is good that they're starting on defense on Villa. If Mirage can steal 2 or 3 rounds really early, I do worry about the mental fortitude. My favorite phrase.
I won't get you wrong, Peter.
Why do you do this?
I just think the phrase...
I'm supposed to be the one who antagonizes you, and then you're supposed to play the straight man and not find it funny, and then people are supposed to go, haha, cringe in the chat.
Oh, no.
But anyway.
I'm just building on what Jackie put up.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Whoa, oh, that must be through the hard wall. I was going to say Euphoria is a dead man, and then no, I think he was protected, but Mirage obviously very confident in here. You hear the pitter patter of the UMP as well. So Guns was trying to get in on the fun. Mirage starts things off. Sonar removed, Nitro Cell down, Mute off the board. Loading was hunting him down mercilessly. Euphoria is taking an engagement now into the split by the doorway to kitchen, heads in a pantry to watch any advance that might come from downstairs. He's read it correctly. Loading is lurking down below, but is waiting for a call because Euphoria could potentially win this gunfight. The problem is that the AUG doesn't exactly have the best rate of fire to engage against the Commando. Neither of them really have a high rate of fire, to be fair. Down goes Zilchi, guns with the UMP in hand. Speaking of low rates of fire, but Loading wins the fight against Euphoria. Quartz is in the bomb site. Okay.
He's going to hold his flank there. He wants to contain the control that's been established by Mirage, and it will be even further well in hand for Mirage as Flynn goes for the plant. You can see Mirage has control of every single entry to the site. Spirits and Eska trying to retake, but, well, at least Spirits is going to be unsuccessful. Eska now in a post plant will have to find 4. And I don't even think he's going to find 1 if I'm going to forecast the result here. No, he does. I'm wrong. And 2 big kills for Eska. The Cast of Curse coming out here, Loading and Silent now in a 2v1. They need to hold for just a few more seconds. Eska will rotate to the hall. Air jab gives away his intent. He will find the drone, but that'll waste a ton of time. And there's even an attacker above. C4 goes wide, not hitting anything, and he will not even check Loading's corner. Mirage come very close there, but they still managed to win it.
Huge round from not Loading as he waited ever so patiently. He was integral on the entry. He was good in the mid-round, helped push out the Kaid, and then also put up numbers in the post plant. And Mirage, with the confidence that they had, allowed them to lock out the bomb site. And I like that you pointed it out because every angle that was being held from Mirage, obviously deliberate and very well orchestrated to prevent Altiora from getting back into the bomb site. Now, Mozzie almost clutched that, but once again, it was close. Close only counts and horseshoes and hand
grenades.
There you go. So
hey, twinsies.
We are very much the same.
You know, I just noticed in round number 1, Quartz got a TK and I didn't even see it.
Yep. Yeah, TK'd Silent.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's what threw my brain off because I was gonna say Chip and then Quartz killed Silent and my brain couldn't process all the information. Also, I've had about 5 cups of coffee today.
Why is that? Did you not get much sleep last night? Or
I haven't really slept the last couple weeks, no.
I have road work right outside my door. Like, I'm not even kidding. The street directly outside my door, and it is going to be going for the next month or so. So I'm with you on that one. They start at like 6 a.m. It's not great.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, that was like me. This is tangentially a tangent if I can go on here. In Poland, when we were in the flats that we were in, obviously they were for people working all sorts of hours, but I mean the LATAM and the NA broadcasts would usually get us home at 4 or 5 in the morning or 7, 8 in the morning, depending on what region it was, right?
I remember where you're going with this, yeah.
Yeah, and the unit directly above mine was being renovated. So they would start construction work at 8 in the morning, right as I'm getting home. And all I would hear would be like, brrrr, for about 4 straight hours. And I just could not sleep.
Yeah, it's basically like that. Similar to the construction that you saw Eska doing there in the hallway as he was trying to...
Very similar. Great pivot. Top tier pivot, Michael.
As he was trying to blast open holes. Oh, he will blast open a hole in Zilchi's head. A nice shot landed there on the pixel angle. Altiora, as is standard, it seems, getting the leadoff pick in this round.
Zilchi removed from the round. I talked about him as well in the preamble and how we'd seen him have some inconsistencies, and he has not exactly had the best day for his team. The good news is that, well, he's got Loading and Quartz showing up big. Right now, Loading has 6 of the 8 kills on his team through 2 rounds. It's a pretty impressive tally. If Loading goes down, you know that Silent and Quartz can make up for that, but we haven't seen them do it in this map just yet. It's still early.
Yep.
Ditto with Altiora. Eska's showing up really big. Guns is there as well. Euphoria has been a particular standout for this team in the past, but Eska is the man that you're going to keep an eye on, and he's going to stand pat by the B-bomb site. We are just past the halfway round here in round number 3. Mirage are close to being able to push in. They have not been able to take control of Master. I don't know if that's the intent right now, but Spirits could swing as he's positioned inside of the closet. Might end up in a duel with Flynn, as that's exactly where the Hibana was posted up.
Nice angle there from Eska. He gets his second big kill, and he's been doing great work with the 1.5 on this UMP. Only 50 seconds, pardon me, left for Mirage to execute onto the site. And they're still struggling to get the refrag for Eska's kill just now. Loading will get it. The rush in from Silent is ill-advised, and Eska gets a third, and Spirit's 2 for himself. Altiora clean up shop. The interesting setup there, and the attack from Mirage, less than lethal.
Yeah, ultimately falling apart as they try to push into the bomb site and just meeting their maker one by one by one. Both those shots from Eska, by the way, gorgeous. And you get to see one on your screen. Here's the other. Ooh.
I really don't know why we saw that run-in, though, from Silent. That was so confusing. He didn't have his gun up. He knows there's going to be someone in Trophy. What's going through his head?
Not entirely sure. I mean, the one thing that Mirage was able to get away with on Coastline was those sorts of individual heroic plays where they burst in. It actually just worked on the bomb site previously. On Kitchen, it worked as well for Mirage, where they realized that they could just rush into the bomb site and would have control. Maybe they thought they were capable of doing the same thing here on Trophy Statuary. I am not entirely certain. Obviously not working out for them the way that they wanted.
Well, definitely not. Now, things could change. Things could change here for Mirage, but right now it's looking... honestly, very good for Altiora's defense. I will say this again because I feel this is very important. Said it during the ban phase. Ace and Thatcher, huge attacker bans. And they will create a very skewed Villa. You don't typically see those two band together. Sometimes you will. But because they are, it very much limits the hard breach options. And we're seeing that reflected in the gameplay from both of these squads so far. One big question I have in this round now is, will Mirage actually get their, I guess, their ducks in a row and commit to an actual strategy to execute onto this bomb site? Last time, they were a little bit second-guessy. They were not committed to what their plan was, and it didn't work out very well. This time, it seems like Mirage is going to try and go for a horizontal clear from the north side, and that'll probably be a more concerted effort. Might give them a better result.
Given the state of the 3 previous rounds, this is a bit of a slower start here. We saw that when it was a Trophy Statuary defense on the previous round, the Aviator Games bomb site was being hung on to, or rather where the bomb site would be was where they were hanging on to. Now we see the same thing, but in reverse, Trophy Statuary being boarded up to a certain extent to try and waste time and utility from the attackers. Eska down below, Valkyrie's going to have a C4 in her pocket to toss out and do maximum pain, and will rely on the rest of her teammates to call. Whether Eska will succeed, we don't know yet, but an impressive 5-1-2 scoreline is exactly where Eska needs to be, and lots more damage can be done as Mirage now make their way from Trophy and Statuary and get ever closer to being able to do something to this bomb site. The challenge is going to need to be over by 90, as you hear flashes going in. On Repel, Guns getting the call for that. A pre-fire will give the position away. Could have held fire for the time being and maybe picked off somebody from Mirage. Would have been Quartz in this case. Eska kill number 6 onto Loading, the IQ down below, punished. And now Quartz will have to confront that deployable shield. But it looks like it might even be a push-up now from the Wamai, read correctly by Guns. Altiora really flexing their strategic muscles here.
Everything's working out for Altiora so far. You can see Mirage was trying to get control of 90, but they failed in that endeavor, and now they don't really have the tools to make it happen. Silent's going to rotate downstairs in an attempt to pick off Eska, but he doesn't know where he is. He just knows the general area. He's right about that at least, but it does not net the kill. With very little time, Mirage has to work a miracle on the site, and it just doesn't seem likely as the gas canisters begin. Sonar will be able to hurl one for every remaining second, so there's basically no chance here for Mirage to make a site push. They'll have to go for frags. No pick there. Amazing. A missed shot from Zilchi and opportunity lost. Flynn just wallowing as he cannot push through the gas canister with as little HP as that C4 leaves him on. Zilchi's going to have to do something. Obviously, it's not going to happen, but he'll try at the very least, and Altiora will pick up a flawless round.
Tough going here for the attack on Mirage. Things are Villa with the way that we are used to seeing a defender-sided Villa working out well. This is the bare minimum that Altiora needs. They can't lose the first half as they've got 3 rounds. So, congratulations. You're right where you kind of want to be. you now want to strike a dagger through the heart of Mirage on their attack by winning yet another round. It's going to be a bomb site that Mirage has their only round win on, which is Kitchen. So they're going to go downstairs, and a similar lineup to what we saw before. Kaid, Mozzie, and the Pulse are going to presumably all have nitro cells at their disposal, but I'm sure one of them is going to bring a deployable shield, or we're at least going to see one deployable shield get brought here, as every team on Villa likes to use them quite effectively, shoot out the walls, then be able to play from behind. No. All right, no deployable shields. 4 C4s. An interesting thing to see, and then one set of barbed wire.
Oh.
This is kind of weird seeing barbed wire, by the way.
I mean, on Jaeger, it makes sense. That's what I usually bring on Jaeger. What do you bring on Jaeger? You don't bring barbed wire?
No, I don't play this game.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Got what you got? Like 10 hours?
Yeah,
10 hours in Siege?
something like that.
10 seconds
No, that's a good thing that's not important when it comes to casting.
5 seconds left.
It's never going to get old.
Never. It's too funny. But yeah, I mean, you can bring a bulletproof on Jaeger, but 90% of the time,
Yeah.
the barbed wire is going to be like at least a little bit more useful. Barbed wire at this stage of the game effectively just is like an early warning system. That's basically what it is in Siege these days. It's like, oh, hey, there's probably someone over here, so.
Yeah. Anywho. Okay. So, very penultimate.
Very penultimate.
I was going to say
Ultimately penultimate.
a very important round for Altiora was actually what I was going to say. And I think it is because, I mean, you can't let up the gas here. We tend to see teams surrender their final defense depending on the way that the site rotation is going. The good news for Altiora is they've got Trophy Statuary open next.
The good news for Mirage is that they are going to get the first pick onto Spirits, who was playing over by the red hallway. It's a really good pick there. Spirits has been a nuisance on those opening frags, and this is one of the few times where he's the one to lose it. And it won't amount to anything else, though. There was a fast retreat from the rest of Altiora, who were roaming in this position. They managed to drop into the basement, and they'll be able to continue to be annoying downstairs for probably, a few more seconds. I'd say about 40.
They'll have to make sure they clear out the bottom floor, though. Though I will say that Mirage were pretty respectable at being able to hold that bottom floor earlier. They'd sent loading down to the basement to just try and watch, and then that's where he pushed up from. Damage done to Flynn, I don't know where, down below. Now it's Zilchi's turn, and for whatever reason, both Flynn and Zilchi must have a rabbit's foot in their pocket because they get away. One bullet will fell both of them, but still in a decent spot. I think Guns just took some damage there, but the X-Kairos should be able to go off now. Loading punished by Guns, finished by Flynn as Mirage just burst on into Memorial. Oh, and a nice shot from Quartz. It actually looked like Flynn was going to be able to get that one. Quartz dropped by Euphoria and Altiora in a 2v2, but they're springing into action. Eska with the Roni in hand. He dusts too, and then Euphoria is there to just absolutely trounce Zilchi. Altiora looking better than they ever did on Coastline. Much more comfortable, and this is the close match that we'd expected between these two teams. 4-1 for Altiora. They definitively win the first half.
Yeah, this is definitely a much more renewed Altiora. Strategies there. The timing is there. For example, in that last round, the strategy from Altiora was to delay by living room, but they had a plan. If Mirage attempted to clear out the living room roam, which Mirage did, Altiora would retreat through the drop down in living room, and then as the attack continued to swoop in, those two defenders who were roaming in the living room would flank, and that's exactly what we saw. It was, in fact, Euphoria and Eska, the Mozzie and Cade, who were those roamers, and who ended up winning that last round. Euphoria came into the site to bolster the defenses, but Eska came behind the attack inside of Memorial. He ran up those red stairs, perfect time, perfect place to pick up all the kills necessary to clinch out that round for Altiora. That was a well thought out defense, if I've ever seen one from Altiora, and it clearly states that Altiora has game plans ready on maps where strategy will be facilitated. Coastline is typically a little bit more of a looser map. So I guess we've determined what kind of team Altiora is. They prefer structured, or at least that's how it appears. That just calls into question then, why did Altiora pick Coastline?
I mean, they did well on Nordic, against Nordic, I guess. Maybe they just felt really confident on it. Maybe they felt that it was a good map to kind of wipe the slate clean and just go blow for blow using how good their fraggers are. But I mean,
didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, they also had some players asleep. Spirits was the only one who really showed up in any meaningful way, I would say, for Altiora. And I mean, if you've still got to shake off the cobwebs or get the sleep out of your eye before you can get into a game, maybe if Coastline was map 3, we would have seen a wildly different result.
Maybe. Right now, it's attempted clear of the ADSs and the Wamais. It's not working out so well. Second nade goes in. It does damage to Spirits, but no kill. So there's no more nades there on the sledge, and there's no more nades in general as the attacks run out, which means that Spirits is going to be able to persist in this corner. As long as he wins his gunfight, which he has an advantage in, he'll have the Q of the vault prompt and the forced funnel. Then, well, Spirits is probably going to do a lot of work from this position. We'll see, though. It's not definitive. Shield explodes behind him, and now he's lost a lot of his cover, but he's continuing to waste time, and that's just a waste of utility there from Flynn. He tried to use it maybe as a distraction, and yes, there it is. The distraction works out, but Eska at least will get Quartz, who will take down Spirits. So, an exchange, and it'll continue to be just that as both of these teams go blow for blow. Altiora ends up on the back foot, but Guns will down Loading, who can pick himself up, and since he's not secured, it's likely to happen. So, pickup happening, but no, why are you trying to do it together? Cover! Eska gets 3 big kills, a quad overall, and Altiora will take the round. What a blunder from Mirage.
Yeah, you said it right. What a blunder indeed. Eska's position inside of Trophy seemingly going unnoticed. The thing that's most unfortunate for Mirage in that instance was that they were actually doing quite well up until that point. They flushed out Spirits from his position inside of the closet. It was a perfect read from Loading to, or rather the Nomad to vault right in and take the engagement inside a bathroom. Loading was on the stairs of Astro. He heads on up. He loses a fight to Guns, unfortunate as it may be. But if you know that you might get thirsted, then you just simply need to wait. They didn't have any intel on the players from Altiora inside of Trophy. It ends up being your undoing because I think Flynn was trying to get to them as quickly as he could after he'd gotten the pick onto Guns. All told, that was Altiora just reflexively playing off the situation that presented itself and doing a mighty fine job of it. They had confidence, they seemingly had good comms, they had a control of the bomb site like they needed, and they knew when to take chances, and that can be all the difference in the world. With it, Altiora, a better scoreline than we saw out of Mirage having on that very first map. 5-1 on defense. This leads Mirage to a giant hole. They have a lot of work to do before we go to Oregon, and I think at this point Oregon is all but gonna happen. I don't know if Mirage has the staying power to be able to claw back in this one. They found themselves in a really unfavorable position, and Altiora, credit to them, they've had some pretty good rounds, guided none other than the top player in the Canada division, Eska.
I still can't believe that they didn't just let Zofia pick herself up. Like, she currently is the only operator in this game that can pick themselves up when downed. Just, you know, use that to your advantage. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say anything about it ever again. Altiora, now on attack. This is the more difficult side, but as Parker mentioned, with this kind of scoreline, it's very hard to bounce back. Even if you're Mirage and people expect you to, this is certainly going to be a tall task. And if it's pulled off by Mirage, boy, would I be impressed. Now, early on, Spirits has information from the drone to his right, and he'll see the pulse thanks to one of his teammates calling him out. Zilchi, leaving himself very exposed, will be the leadoff pick for Altiora. No response from Mirage as they have no way to respond. It's hard to push into Laundry. Quartz actually, though, will get Spirits as I say that. He's trying to get aggressive on what people refer to as the bike window. Loading has been downed, though, so it's a tit for tat. And Altiora maintains some kind of an advantage. We'll see if Loading gets picked up. He probably will be. He's in the middle of the site. And Quartz, there you go. Goes for it. Mirage keep themselves in this, but still, HP advantage, Altiora.
This is Mirage not respecting Altiora at all. They are still trying to play that gung-ho confident game that they played on Coastline, and with Altiora right now on a tear, it is hurting Mirage. You need to be more respectful of this Altiora team as they have woken up, and they are doing an extraordinarily strong job of taking map control and then pivoting it towards the pressure that would need to be coming onto the bomb site. Loading, who'd been damaged earlier, is now finished off. Flynn has the Hibana lined up around the corner. There's a flash, and he'll survive for now. Sonar springs in. Silent credited with the kill as Eska punishes one. That's kill number 13, leaving Silent to do nothing but die. Altiora match point. Man, this one is quicker than Coastline.
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing some life from Altiora, and maybe, just maybe, what we were talking about after map number 1 just, well, doesn't actually ring true. It's definitely possible. I didn't expect this kind of a performance from Altiora, to be honest. Coastline instilled absolutely zero confidence in me for this team. But right now, it's looking like complete domination. And you said it yourself, Parker. I think you said it well when you mentioned how Mirage is trying to play a type of game that is based on confidence and brazenness and just, we can do this, we can do that. We can pulse in the middle of the site without holding laundry for some reason, and we won't be punished. And Altiora is finally punishing Mirage. And, well, the result is clear. So, question now becomes less of, will Mirage be able to make that comeback happen? And more of, what's Oregon going to do for us? We'll see when we get to that map number 3. If we get to that map number 3, there's still a chance. It just is a very slim one. Mirage will need 5 rounds in a row.
Yeah, I think it's pretty likely.
Yeah. Oregon's up there right now.
Yeah.
It also seems, honestly, just like Mirage is a little disheartened based on what's been happening over the last few rounds. They're definitely playing less than their potential.
I have to wonder how much Altiora was prepared to go to this map. The hands of their very capable coach Bandit, if they've done some counter-stratting, because Mirage has played and excelled on Villa a fair number of times. I mean, I think that stands to reason, but I mean, that's just me speculating here. It could be completely wrong. It was absent from the Altiora Nordic game. This was the one map that wasn't played. Altiora defeated Nordic by a 7-3 score line, so obviously they're quite comfortable on it. Villa's won 7-3 by Mirage over Livid, but I mean, Livid did for a period of time look like the worst team in the Canada division. Right now, statistically, it's actually Nordic, so
yeah,
we'll see. But I mean, even if Mirage ends up winning a couple rounds here, I don't see it really tightening up at all. Altiora have looked much better on defense and on attack as well. And there you go, punishing Silent, who gets droned out and peeks right into Spirits on the bed of Master. Mirage only have 4 members remaining, and this could be a very quick 7-1. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, certainly looking like it. You know, this has been a really deceptive series. I mean, we're about to potentially go to map number 3, but it's still been fairly quick, to be honest. I mean, he just started not too long ago, and yeah, we haven't even been here for 2 hours. We'll see, though, if Mirage is going to take this one and rally back. They still have control of 90, and in this round, that is powerful. See, Loading does not want to let it go. He's going to put up his magnets, but there's 3-4 members of Altiora over there, and eventually Loading will just give up the ghost of that 90 control, forfeiting it to Altiora, who will, I'm sure, swiftly take it. Altiora does not have the diffuser, but I'm sure they'll get it before they actually start attacking the site. Looks like a little bit of a rotation here from Altiora. They're pushing 2 players over towards Study. Looks like just those 2. The other 3 will maintain control of top red, landing, and 90. It's going to be difficult for that push, though, to get all the way down the hallway as the shield is being played by Flynn.
Loading still in this position by Classical. Flynn not too far off, as you pointed out. Study focus is now coming into play here for Altiora. They'll try to flash. Loading getting very aggressive, knowing that door is still closed to a certain extent. Loading swings. It's a fight that he might have been interested in taking, but Unfortunately for him, it doesn't work out in his favor. Altiora finding themselves edging ever so closer to being able to take this one, putting Flynn in a very precarious position by games. He has no choice but to fall off. He's going to have to stop this plant from going down side by side with Quartz, but Quartz dusted by Sonar. Diffuser going down, and it works out quite well. Guns trying to protect it. Zilchi finished off. Flynn in a 1v5 for the match on the line, the map on the line. We have Oregon lined up now as Flynn's not going to make it out of vault. They shut the door. Yet another flawless round for Altiora as they win 6 rounds in a row. They have every reason to be confident. They dumpster Mirage 7-1.
Well then, it's almost as if these teams switched sides, switched shoes. I don't. Complete change up there. Mirage looked like the absolute dominant team on map number 1 Coastline. Now we go on to Villa, and it's the inverse. And these are on each other's maps. So Altiora just won Mirage's map, and Mirage won Altiora's map. Now we're going to the decider. What a weird series.
15 kills for Eska.
He wants that spot. He wants that top.
He desperately wants that spot. But Michael, we have a break. So don't touch your browser. We'll be back in a couple minutes because we have to break down what happened and then set us up for the final map of the night on Oregon. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, and Altiora battling back, dominating map 2 Villa against Mirage, winning 7-1, winning 6 rounds in a row. That was wildly fast, gentlemen. I'm Jackie Jing with Kixon and Taro, and let's look at the replays. Eska just completely dominant.
Yeah.
What did you guys say? How many kills did he get?
15.
Yeah, killing it.
The Eska show.
Yeah.
Isn't there an anime
For
that
what?
starts with Eska?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean,
Sounds like
I thought there was.
potentially be an anime name. Is there really?
I mean,
Dang, didn't even
Jackie's
know
a
that.
bona fide anime expert, so if
I feel like she would know. Yeah, she's got a PhD in
Yeah.
animeology. So, but
multiple degrees.
It was a really strong
Different
performance.
specifications.
Altiora playing with their food on that matchup. You can see the stats
Yeah.
right now on your screen, how strong it was. I mean, there weren't really any poor performers per se. There were players who went quiet on Altiora's side, but they really cleaned up when it came to kills.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I think we were all a little bit shocked towards the end of map 2 there. And both of you were saying Mirage definitely looked out of sorts. So I want to pick both of your brains. Do you think that they were being careless? Was there a mental break there? Or Altiora just seemed to be completely taking advantage of whatever was going on there, Kicks?
They certainly did. I think that there was a mental break on Mirage's side. They seemed completely checked out, if I'm being honest. They were stumbling over each other. You saw that well highlighted at the very end of the map. When the smoke's not in the right position, then he's not smoking the plant. How is that not called out? Then the bandits running into the smokes and the chaos on Mirage's side. They were not ready for what Altiora was dishing out, and rightfully so. I mean, I wasn't ready for what Altiora was dishing out. I did not expect that. I thought this was going to be a blowout. I thought we were done. I thought Altiora was the clear loser, and not so. So props to Altiora for their tenacity in taking map number 2.
That was definitely something. And actually our players are ready, so we're gonna do what we did last time, and then Terrell ask your question, and then y'all can just take it away. But you said something like Mirage was not being respectful, and I'm sure they're about to change their tune on map 3 here. So I did want to see what you were thinking about how they're prepping for this final map. What are they saying to each other right now? Because I'm sure they're not happy, and as Kix was just saying, some sort of mental break happening there. So you ponder that, and then I'm just going to go away, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.
I mean, I'll think about it. Yeah, absolutely. Frankly, I mean, we talk about momentum a fair bit in this game, and there's no in-game momentum-based system involving bans or economy or anything like that the players need to worry about. The only momentum that exists in this game is entirely mental, and I have no doubt that Mirage was likely very frustrated with what they were seeing, and after a couple rounds, their spirits were probably broken by spirits, who on Altiora's side was very not broken. He didn't have that great of a game, but he did well in map number 1. Obviously, it's Eska that stole the show in map number 2, but there are some times where it's just things don't work. Communication might not be that sharp. You might be going in cocky. You might be trying to play a style that worked against other opponents, and it's too late for you to course correct. We don't really know, and we can't speculate because we can't hear their team comms. So frankly, we don't really know what exactly is going on behind the scenes. What I can tell you though is it certainly did not look like the Mirage that we saw on Coastline, and more importantly, it didn't look like the Mirage that we've seen on Villa before. Altiora had some good performances, sure, but there was nothing world-beating about what we saw at Altiora. It looked like there was more missteps by Mirage than anything else. Obviously not to take credit away from the way that Altiora answered when they saw mistakes presented to them. Regardless, both teams, they're going to be back at square one. It's essentially a best of one here on Oregon. We might as well be in the EU League, Michael.
I mean, I kind of get where you're coming from, because this has been really great. This has been fast, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, because EU leagues are best of ones and they all play on Oregon.
Oh, right. Okay, and then where it ultimately is decided by this one map. Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, Michael, a best of one means that one map decides the whole thing.
Right. Yeah, no,
Right.
I understand what a best of one is. I'm just trying to I'm trying to draw the connection here. Kinda? Yeah, right? Kinda, because I mean, the first two, we can just, I guess, forget about the first two, because it's clear that any kind of evidence that we've managed to gather to support any sort of argument is meaningless.
Right.
From those first two maps. So yeah, I guess essentially we just got started. Welcome to the stream, everybody. This is the very first map, and we're doing best of ones now. Altiora versus Mirage. Ban phase done. Montaigne Thatcher on attack. That's an interesting one. Malusi will still be banned, as will Mira, same as I believe the last map. And yeah, we'll get underway. Altiora starting on defense of Oregon. That is an advantage for sure. Hopefully for Mirage and their fans, they will not crack if they lose too many of these attack rounds like they did on Villa.
Fun fact, if I can hit you with a ban, we have had Mira banned in map number 1, 1M name operator. Map number 2, Mira, And
Attackers need to locate
I actually
and
had the
defuse as
wrong.
many bombs as they can.
Hit the wrong one. There, never mind. Now we have 3 M's banned. It's growing. It's growing in numbers. Malusi and Mira were both banned in map 2. That's 2 bans. Map 3, 3 M bans. Completely meaningless statistic, just something I found funny.
Parker.
First it was like, and then it was like, and then it was like, Yes. That's correct.
It looks like it's going to be an armory hold, an extended defense here for Altiora. I like these. I like when we see something different like this. This has actually worked out. We've seen this in the Canadian division quite a lot, actually. My records are correct in my brain. And I believe they are. This is not a new setup, nor is it new to Altiora, at least from my recollection. But it's cool. I like it.
We've seen teams barricade themselves in armory, but never to the extent that Guns has. I mean, look at this. You have a sledge on the board. Mirage really likes running this sledge. So Castle is going to be, well, I mean, he's going to be a swing of a hammer away from irrelevancy, and they've opened it up. Trying to flash him. There you go. Flynn looking to burn those ADSs. There's still one remaining, but it looks like it manages to evade it as it goes off. Silent could possibly pressure him from below if there's the right amount of pings. There is a kill hole opened up by the Jaeger of Guns, who now gets droned out, and he's going to watch it.
It's a
There goes the Ash charge. It does a tiny bit of damage to Guns, and he has to move. There's an upside down rappel that he'll have to contest with as a grenade gets tossed on in. These are just not doing enough to him at all. The Ash charge, the grenades, he'll skate by this one, a crossfire down below on the safety of the hatch. This is a minute now that 3 separate members of Mirage have been focused on. And they're not going to be able to do much to him in this spot. He tries to get away. How do you take out Quartz like that? Goodness, nobody watching. Tries to pivot on to Silent. Can't do it. 50 damage done at the same time. That was so helpful for Altiora from Guns.
That was strange. The only thing that was necessary to counter that play from Guns was for someone to walk up the main staircase. Nobody on Mirage committed to that. Quartz goes for rappel in. That's the last thing he should have done. There was a good setup there from Guns. He had the ADS in the corner. It wasn't covering the window, but it would protect him from nades. The Ash charge dealt with that, so well countered by Mirage. There was a constant back and forth battle there, but in the end, I guess you could say, brazenness of Guns won, and he was able to get a kill out of it, and 2 minutes, and plenty of utility. Now as we turn our focus to the site setup, Nade going in to get rid of one of the shields inside of games. It's successful. Spirits has used all of his magnets, it seems. They've been burned very well. We're going to also get control of Trophy. Mirage are in a good spot so far, even though they are limited on time. They've got the breach done for them, so they don't even need to think about that. They can even extend it with the exothermic. Silent will eat some damage in an engagement, but Zilchi's going to be the one to get the pick onto Spirits, so Altiora's anchor is now starting to suffer. Again, the time is limited here, but there's enough utility for the attack to open up a rotation into Attic. Despite that, though, Sonar will take down Flynn. That's going to be good for Altiora as they get a response back. Dying seconds almost, and Altiora are starting to peel off of their extended positions and hold on the rotates. Zilchi trying to confront that rotate, but he won't be able to get a kill on it. Silent on the entry, looking for something. Zilchi doesn't even see his opponent, who rotates into the closet, who will have an advantage. It's Eska to get the kill on Zilchi before he can even get close to the diffuser, and Altiora will win in the last few seconds of that round.
There's no celebrating here for Altiora. They look like they understand the gravity of this matchup, and now they have an advantage. There's going to be a rehost called from Flynn, confirmed by the admins, so our horrifyingly beautiful faces will pop back up on your screen. Mirage will exit, and we will need the game to be remade before we can go back in. Now, that round, what, honestly, were Mirage thinking, wasting that much time and trying to swing in on the Jaeger playing on that hatch? What was it? Because I could hear you roll your eyes, Michael.
So the problem was they were trying to deal with the Jaeger without necessary information gathered first. So Jaeger's playing inside of Armory. What do we need to do as an attacking team to confront that? You can play on the window. You can go from below. These are all valuable and viable tactics. The reinforced drop down, the below pressure is negated somewhat. The best way to confront that Jaeger is to do a 3-pronged attack and pressure him from the hallway. If you pressure him from the hallway, He has to take that heads up 1v1, and as he's being attacked from below and the window as well, there's no way he's going to be able to get anything out of that. Even the most talented players would struggle in that kind of scenario. But we didn't see that from Mirage. They needed to spend less time on it. They spent almost 2 minutes on guns, and they also just didn't play the counter in Armory very well with the explosives. The nades is supposed to corral guns. Not a great job of that. The ADS did get destroyed from below by the Ash Charge, but I think that was just happenstance. I don't think it was targeted. I think he was just trying to get rid of a corner that guns could have played in, and that worked out, I guess. But again, it's just, if you're unsure about pushing the hallway because you're worried about Trophy, you're worried about Master, maybe you're worried about the roam downstairs in the main lobby, drone that out first. That's more valuable use of your time. Quartz, don't rappel in like that. He's not dead. You can't do that. You know, it's little nitpicky things, or so it seems when we're talking about this in hindsight. And, you know, it was chaotic and crazy, and it could have gone any which way. But at the same time, I do really feel like the answer was there for Mirage. They just chose not to seize it.
Yeah, I mean, that killed not just Quartz, but also did a lot of damage to Silent, and also wasted well over a minute on the clock on that one hold itself. You know, you lost your sledge, you lost that soft destruction. Now on a Dorm's take, the sledge isn't going to be particularly valuable because he can't swing his hammer at the ceiling above him. And both of his frag grenades at that point were used up, but it's still an extra gun. It's an extra gun pointed at one of the choke points that Dorm's bomb site presents itself with. You know, if you're looking at somebody covering the bunks over by Big Window, maybe somebody at the top of White Stairs, maybe you want somebody to pressure Attic. Maybe you've got somebody looking inside of Trophy at the cross that's going to come from the Kid Storms area. There's a lot of different places that they could have utilized that sledge, and his life was just kind of given up to reckless abandon. Same with Spirits, or same with Silent. Silent almost falling to the Jaeger, losing 50 HP. Well, when you're at 50 HP, you can't confidently take gunfights the same way, especially if you're going through those choke points presented on the Dorms, because a nitro cell, a toxic canister, or hell, even an impact grenade could be enough to potentially kill you. So Silent at that point was in a position where he had to play a bit more cautiously. That might not have been a mortal blow, but it was pretty close too. That one play alone from the Jaeger was really instrumental. And I mean, you were very excited at the Armory defense that we saw taking place, and it turns out that it worked out quite well.
Yeah, a big part of that, also credit to Guns. He played his position exceptionally. And, you know, the reason why Quartz repelled in was because he was frustrated by the lack of action on the Jaeger, and he just wanted to force the engagement. And again, that's why you peek him from the hallway. Anyway, that is what it is. When it came to the actual site take, for those of you wondering, mostly the reason why it ended up falling in the way of Altiora is because of Altiora's ability to stay alive. They did not do anything brazen or anything that could get them killed. They played very smart, based primarily on time, and they peeled off every position progressively. Then, when opportunities presented themselves due to the low manpower on Mirage, you saw Altiora take pushes of opportunity, like the SAS operator, whether it was a mute or a smoke, I want to say it was a mute, taking control of Closet because he knew that there was only one gun holding that position. And as an SAS operator, you got the SMG-11, you got the shotgun, you can force out those close-range engagements, taking control of the diffuser, and then at that point, there's no chance for Mirage. So, now the big question in everyone's heads, I'm sure, is going to be, does this bode well for Altiora in the long run? Does this mean that we now have a new number one in the Canadian division? It's just one round, but it was still very well played by Altiora. You cannot take that away from them. And obviously, we're going to have to wait for the rest of the map to make a determination there. But man, was that a well-played round strategically from Altiora, and a lot of stumbles, one after another from Mirage.
This is the worst time for a rehost, by the way, because you only have a single round to analyze.
Yeah,
for everybody, for would-be casters, by the way, if you're watching this and you're like, wow, these guys are, they're really wringing everything out of that round.
We're getting into the minutia of the plan.
Yeah. See, the first couple steps that they took for the diffuse planter could have been better optimized. They could have arrived at the site 7 seconds sooner. See, there was a bit of hesitation, actually, with the way that Flynn was waiting for the castle barricade to get opened up. That flashbang had been a little bit sooner with the frag grenade toss, and it probably would have killed him anyway. So you just dive into that. It's like the
I mean,
worst.
we can though. I mean, it does
This
matter.
is the worst possible time for a rehost to happen after one round, especially one round that was largely chaotic and is easily explained by a single player playing the way that he played. The rest of that round really just boils down to trying to push into the dorms bomb site. You know, I know that we fall back and we say standard stuff a lot, which we're trying to do less of for all of you at home, because
standard stuff. It's standard.
it's not necessarily standard to players who don't see this level of gameplay. Let's say you're
standard stuff.
It's very standard. I don't see that in my silver games. Well, you're absolutely
neither,
right,
Jimmy.
Timmy. That's not how we do it. So, you know, anyway.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it was some pretty, I guess, in the big picture, advanced stuff. But so is everything you're going to see at this level. And that's one round. So next round, yay! Woo! We did it.
Locate and defuse
Defense,
bombs.
bottom floor. It'll be a laundry hold. Altiora bringing enough kit to hold elbow. For those of you who don't know, that's to your top right of your screen, now directly underneath on the elbow there. Usually you'll see that opened up by the defense because it can be used to hold onto blue. It'll be opened up in a very interesting way here for Altiora. They're going to go ahead and open the right side. Typically, it's a crouch hole on the left side. This is telling of a slightly different setup. You can see that shield actually is very different. Normally, that will go in elbow, but this is being used to hold the push out from elbow. I'm really curious what this overall hold is going to be for Altiora. It looks like they're prioritizing objective play over control of zones. So what I mean by that is the reason you hold elbow is to control the blue zone. If you control the blue zone, you burn attackers' time. But if you want to play the objective, technically that's not necessary. You don't have to control elbow to control the objective as much as you would think that might be the case. You can control the objective all the way from laundry, and by objective I mean default plant behind the B shelf. You can control that all the way from laundry with gas canisters and C4s tossed over the shelf. So even though the attackers might get control of elbow, they might cut off your cross. With this kind of a setup, if that's your plan, it might not matter. We'll see how it pans out for Altiora, though. We're not done yet. Mirage setting up for a full clear. They want to establish that there are no roamers, open up all the drop downs, and then execute onto the site. That is Mirage's plan. So the goal is not a elbow blue take, is evident by their positioning currently. Spirits is the only potential roamer. He's playing at mid stairs, and he could retake onto these attackers if he times it correctly, but he's got to be careful, as there is a Nomad in play. Now, there's that Nomad, and down she goes to Spirits, who just straight up wins the gunfight. So, the quote-unquote roamer of Spirits will return to the site. A job done, mission accomplished, and feeling good about himself, especially after he picks off loading as well.
Altiora again with that opening advantage, and I say opening because, well, 90 seconds isn't quite opening, but the way that Oregon plays out, I don't know. This is about the tempo that they need to set, and don't make the tempo joke.
You read my mind. How'd you do it?
I was waiting for it.
I'm not gonna.
No, tempo plays in the U.S. division. Okay.
Hey, you taught it to me. Where do you think I learned that?
How dare you use my own words against me? Anyway.
Ooh.
So, Mirage have the elbow control they want. They've also got pillars, which despite the advantage that Altiora holds, it's pretty challenging to try and grab hold of pillars. So this presents a winnable situation right now for Mirage. And they're going to start with their very first pick. Down goes Guns. Smoke damage being done to Silent, but I don't think he could see that he was in it. That's really troubling because Silent now only on 25 HP. It's a damning position to be in. There is an angle being held by Quartz. If Flynn can be flanked by two players in the lobby right now, he's got the two of them that he absolutely wants. Silent will fight Maestro and win that one, splatting down Euphoria, but taken from behind by Eska, as now Flynn goes for the plant. Oh, Nitro Cell gets tossed out. Quartz will need to reload, and Flynn will get away with it. Goodness gracious, Mirage somehow making this work. It's not the spot they wanted to find themselves in for Altiora. A big double play from Quartz, and now all of a sudden the tides have turned. Eska on the retake. He'll punish Flynn. He's only going to find Quartz, and then with the diffuser in hand, he could go for the disable. Problem being, Quartz has fallen all the way back to back stairs. And if the Kaid decides to push from blue, he'll lose this fight. Makes a ton of noise, and he'll go for that diffuser planted in the doorway. If that wall is soft, this could pose a problem. Nope, he's on a perfect angle. Quartz will push up. Off the diffuser he comes, but he's just better on Quartz's side, and Mirage will even things at 1 apiece.
What a messy round. So many things to dissect. The elbow control, the defense, holding it, then not holding it, then reinforcing it, then it gets opened by the attack. That's just all by elbow, too. Once that wall gets opened up, there's another shield deeper in to give the defense a second bastion to try and deny the plant. But that shield is done away with by the second Ash charge, but only narrowly because Quartz on elbow shoots the ADS that would have caught the Ash charge. So many things going on there just by elbow continued. Here's part 3 of by elbow control. The C4 from the Kaid, used to try and dislodge the attacker from elbow, but used poorly by Eska, as he should have denied the plant on the other side of the shelf. So many crazy things happening there. So many missteps. And I mean, I'll be blunt, it could have been either team's round. There's no better team for me out of that performance. There is a better player, though, and that's Quartz. A big round for him, picking up 3 frags, and all of them crucial frags as well. He managed to get both of the defenders who were flanking by Pillar, and that single-handedly gives Mirage a chance in that round. Because if those flanks had been successful, Altiora sweeps up, it's a done deal, and it doesn't even matter. But Quartz fights his way out. He gets up to the tower stairs. He plays the post plant masterfully in the 1v1. And there you go. That's your result. Well done to Mirage, Quartz in particular. And
Quartz and Eska have really proven their worth so far, back and forth as they've gone. All of Quartz's kills, of course, happening in that clutch that we just saw. But talk about impactful kills. Hard to find more impact than those. Anyway.
It is hard to find more impactful kills than those.
I mean, you could probably find them, but it would be hard.
I am still begging for the ability to only track the kills that are achieved in winning rounds. I desperately want to see those stats.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I think it would be valuable. I think it'd be very valuable. It would provide a unique insight into how players contribute to the victory, not just overall.
I think that's something that we can discuss that one in private, Michael.
Oh, well, okay.
Security hatch opened up as loading had some struggles at the beginning, taking some damage. There's an electric claw used on that, and none in the back pocket of Eska, so he's going to try to trick this, but he's a bit too slow to the draw. And now, that is the box hatch opened up as well, so he's going to go back and throw the electric claw right on the same wall, which is right next to him. Over by box, that's leading to pillars. Altiora have 2 separate players lined up inside a freezer, and Sonar gets droned out. He's got a shotgun in hand, and he'll smoke it off as there goes another grenade. Beautiful double kill from loading. Goodness gracious, blow them sky high. Altiora will be buried inside a freezer and surrender the first 2 picks.
That's huge there for Mirage, but they've stumbled in this position before, so it's not over yet. Give it a little bit of time. Eska's still in play. Spirits is still in play. Guns even. These 3 players have been integral for many rounds. But there goes Spirits. Quartz getting a big frag as he entries in through the freezer. A second for Quartz. It's all on Guns, who gets felled by the man himself. A 3K on the entry for Quartz, and Mirage will solidify it with a flawless round.
Being a beauty on this play now. That's 5 kills over 2 rounds for Quartz, or rather 6 kills over 2 rounds.
Yeah, 6 kills. Yeah, because he had 3K in both rounds.
That's not too bad. Loading's grenades, of course, obviously putting in good work. Catches Euphoria. Sonar had pushed up, and he mislabeled, or misjudged, rather, where that grenade had landed. He thought that the play was to back up, inadvertently backing into it. If that nade doesn't go off, that smoke should have been enough cover. Almost guaranteed that Mirage is not able to capitalize on the pick on the Maestro. The Maestro gets picked back up. Sonar is still alive. Totally different round. that one small misplay from Sonar, which is a very innocent misplay, and nobody should misread it as him being inept or anything along those lines. It happens. It's hard to always read the indicators as to where things are coming from. That one small misplay had a colossal unintended, consequences, and ends up blowing up Altiora's defense inside of Freezer. That forced the remaining members to try and hold on to the bomb site after they were getting pressured from 3 separate angles. And the setup obviously did not really factor in losing Freezer either. So that was a part of the map that they didn't want to concede at all, and unfortunately for them, well played by loading. So Mirage has an advantage here on attack on Oregon. This is somewhat concerning for Altiora because defense tends to do exceptionally well on this map.
Yes, they do. This is a solid defensive map overall. And Mirage are really proving their worth. That rehost appears to have reset the mentality of Mirage and is allowing them to pick up great early kills like this one. Quartz has been the man over these last 2 rounds. And, I mean, 7 kills, 3 rounds. That really says something. After getting that initial, he will entry downstairs, trying to find the roamer that the attack expects to be down here. It'll be Spirits hiding in the closet, but are they even going to check it is the question. You can see the drone going towards the closet now. Loading's going to spot him in just a second, and there it is. Jaeger's position given away. Quartz now knows what he's facing, and he thinks it's just that Jaeger, as Freezer has been checked. Free Fire goes out there on the angle, but no actual engagement just yet. They're aware of each other and scared of each other. The engagement goes to Quartz. 8 kills for the man over 3. And Altiora now back foot significantly in this round.
3 rounds in a row now where he's had at least 2 kills per round. That's really impressive stuff. It's not even that he's just having 1 kill and then fading into the background. He is commanding most of these rounds. And Altiora, frankly, don't really have an answer for it. They've only found 4 kills since this rehost after round number 1, and Mirage looks set to claim yet another as it's a 2v5 that favors Mirage. Sonar and Euphoria do at least have the benefit of the site working in their favor. This does tend to be a bomb site that, with those narrow choke points, the attackers can stumble on, and especially if they give themselves up as Loading just did. Maestro there, present, he's got tons of ammunition. Sonar finds one, and all of a sudden this round has become imminently more winnable than it was before. Quartz and Loading are no more. A minute to go. The only problem was that Maestro of Euphoria had to fall off that position, allowing the closet wall to get opened up. This will make it a little bit more difficult, but the good news is you've got 2 Evil Eyes and 3 Toxic Canisters to keep the attackers at bay for the remainder of the round.
Also very important, Quartz and Loading are the men on Mirage to get the kills typically. Gas canister number 1 will down Flynn and finish him off. Great play there from Sonar, but a good response from Silent. It's a 1v1 though suddenly as Euphoria takes out Zilchi. Very much time here. Both players on full HP, 10 bullets in the magazine. Silent can go for a reload. He doesn't have to force this. Flash out there. Trying to get a blind Maestro, an easy target, but the camera is calling him out this whole time. Lots of damage done, and there it is. The stuns work for Silent, as they so rarely do, and Mirage will take the round.
I think Veli actually tweeted about this earlier today, saying, when was the last time you all saw a flashbang used to actually flash somebody?
Well,
there's your answer.
And the problem is twofold. I mean, it's kind of unfair to judge flashes as in that way. The reason they're used to clear things is because there's 3 of them. That's it. They're also so prevalent on the attack. You need to clear out the ADSs. Are you going to use a smoke or grenade? No, technically they're higher value. So 3 stuns? Yeah, you're going to use it to clear. I agree though. They could be buffed a little bit maybe. I'm not sure how you would do that without making them OP, though. It'd be a dangerous dance.
I mean, here's an idea. Limit the things that you need to clear with flashbangs.
Now, Parker,
that's a thinker.
Now we're talking about changing the whole game, and I completely agree with you. If it were up to me, and most people would call me crazy, but if it were up to me, I would practically have utility in this game. But I'm crazy, so, whatever.
Anyway. All right, well, things are not working here. It looked like it was going to be the double dorms yet again, but it was a a swap up, and downstairs to kitchen and meeting they will go. I mean, right now Altiora are finding some issues with their defensive rotation. Unsuccessful at 2 different defenses of laundry supply room is not usually what you want to see, especially if teams can stack up over by pillars and shoot out the walls and freezers and in the freezer walls and then play off of elbow. But Altiora could not react to the way that Mirage was able to counter that, especially the meeting upstairs. And I mean, a roam probably wouldn't have helped here, and roaming has been one of the strengths of Altiora so far, but hasn't exactly proven to be all that successful on this map. Now, if there's somebody playing off-site, we'll see if they're going to find themselves dying at the hands of Quartz yet again, as it looks like he's quite intent to go downstairs. Altiora have many a member of their team far afield, as you like to say, from the bomb site, including 2 of which are playing up top. Guns has made his way back. It looked like he was roaming downstairs. Whereas you have the Maestro playing closer inside the bomb site, and then Sonar playing by meeting. So a decent spread, and Eska and Spirits both have a hatch open to drop to the bomb site if they need to.
The roam hunt once again, but this time it's silent. Guns will be the one to confront. Not using the 1.5, interestingly, but rather a typical 1x on the hollow. He knows that there's someone inside a classroom. He can see and hear the explosions coming from below. Eska opening above, trying to distract for Guns. Loading will get the lead-off kill, as he so often does. And Silent even wins the fight with Guns, trying to get aggressive on the hallway. Is he going to expect a second? Yes, but he doesn't win the fight. Spirits will take that one. Altiora going tooth and nail with this battle, and well, still a favor for Mirage, but there's a chance here. Altiora can swing it back, and it gets better as Spirits and Eska both get a kill of their own, leaving just Zilchi and Loading. Nice shot there from Zilchi. Loading is also, in this map, a fragger and a half, so this is still anyone's round. The constant back and forth will never cease, it seems, as the engagement by security ends up going the way of Spirits, who gets his 3rd kill of the round. Zilchi trying to pick up his 2nd. Stun goes in, blinds the Jaeger, but Spirits is better. It doesn't matter. Pistol out. He'll win it. A quad kill for him, and Altiora take the round.
Altiora desperately need to take not just this one, but the next one as well to try and keep this first half even. You have the benefit of going on to Oregon on defense, and you don't have a Malusi and a Mira, that's fine. The attackers don't have access to Thatcher. Ace is in place. They could have trotted him out if they really wanted to. And Maverick is obviously still available as well, but Mirage really like this Maverick Thermite combo, and for the most part, I'd say it's been working for them, albeit a bit antiquated given that Ace brings some different usages with those Selmas. Regardless, Altiora need to try to hit the reset button, as we call it, which is you take 3 rounds on one half because you've already lost. On defense, you should be taking 4 rounds on Oregon. Altiora are not going to be able to do that. There's nothing when I look at these operator bans that leads me to believe that the defense are going to struggle here. The attackers are running a similar lineup to what we've seen so far. This honestly just looks like right now, Mirage, and mostly in the hands of Quartz and how he's been supported, have looked like a sharper team on this map. That is a troubling position for Altiora, because when they swap sides, that likely means that Mirage will play well on defense, given what we're used to seeing with Oregon being a very defender-sided map. Obviously, we've seen crazy things happen where we end up with extremely attacker-sided villas and cafes. Back in the day, we could be seeing this as well. But right now, if I'm coaching Mirage, if I'm the general manager of Mirage, I'm very happy with where the team is sitting right now. And if I'm Altiora, I'm a little worried right now.
I certainly would be if I were Altiora as well. This last round of the first half is going to be a major determining factor. And once more onto the breach screams Guns as he attempts to hold on to Arsenal. We've seen this dance before. Once again, it'll be a utility dump for Mirage. Guns full blind. Drone goes in. Flynn establishes the location of the Jaeger. Northwest corner is called out. Here comes the spray from the floor. That's the Ash down below. Quartz is not exposing himself this time. Ash charged from below, cutting off rotation. More spray from below to open up a larger angle. Guns trying to challenge. His ADSs, I believe, have been burned. He can be naded now, but he'll move as soon as he hears the nade pin pulled. That's why Quartz isn't going for it just yet. There it is. And there is another ADS, which has now been cleared out. Nades start to go in. Guns incurs more damage, but all the while, Eska will get silent. Second nade does damage, but not enough to kill. And Guns persists. Third nade goes in. The explosives are everywhere, but there's none left for Mirage. And Guns is still alive, still wasting time. There he goes. Finally, Zilchi finds him. And armory control is established.
So it actually took a little bit longer. The only difference is that Quartz survives this time after he'd sprung in last time to his death. The fallback from Altiora after knowing that they were able to waste so much time and a decent amount of utility in the process, it should put them with a lot of confidence. You see that Mirage are largely depleted when it comes to those secondary gadgets. There's only one single flashbang grenade remaining. That's it. Not necessarily what you want to be dealing with here, unless you've already cleared out most of the ADS and most of the magnets, in which case then you're in an okay position, but there's no way for us to know that. There's still hard destruction for Mirage as well, and they're going to need to be a little bit better with it after a pre-placed hole and a pre-throw from Euphoria does not connect. It was looking for Quartz, but wouldn't find it. After the Nitro cell failed, a gas canister will go and Quartz will be held at bay for 40 seconds. Sonar found and finished off, but he'll need to be picked back up. Second kill for Eska. Sonar gets taken out, and there's Eska as well, as Zilchi appears to just come in and capitalize off of it. That's his third kill on the round, if I remember correctly. Quartz swings in, but he's not expecting Spirits on this rat angle. So Euphoria and Spirits will now need to do double duty. Flynn in a 1v1, pistol out, Flynn evading him! Who says casters can't play? Defeat on the face of Altiora, and Mirage will win the first half 4-2.
I am embarrassed for Euphoria. Oh my god. He had the flank of Flynn for that entire engagement and he couldn't kill him. Oh, that round right there could be the determining factor here for the outcome of the match as a whole. Mirage and the attacking half on Oregon of all maps, one of the most defender-sided maps, period, in the current meta, in a 4-2 split. What an embarrassing end to that round, by the way. It really should have been Altiora's. They played it very well. Spirits, a great play by the Closet. Guns still delaying fairly well by the Armory. Lots of utility wasted by Mirage. Overall, the hold for Altiora, solid. They played it well. But Euphoria just couldn't land the shots on Flynn. He had his flank. Oh my god, he's not going to live that one down for a while, Parker.
Yeah. Missed plays. We've seen missed plays from all of the teams in all the matches. I mean, that's what happens when you see a newly developing region. They're going to take some time to iron things out. That's just how it works. You know, I mean, I think we need to actually heap quite a bit of praise on Altiora.
Yep.
Because they are succeeding right now, and they are competing with the team that we always refer to as the best team in the region, which is Mirage. Mm-hmm. And yet, Altiora are doing it after having made 2 substitutions. You know, they bring in Eska, they bring in Euphoria, and they are both making immediate, measurable contributions to this team. It's very easy for them to bring these players in, and then at the end, find themselves in a position where, oh, they're not gelling, or, oh, there's still some issues with roles, etc., etc. Not the case here. They fit in effortlessly, frankly, and almost look like they've been there since day one. Mirage have kept the same lineup, and they've had some consistency issues in the first stage, but they obviously fixed that. They look like a better team now, but lots of credit needs to be given to Altiora.
Yeah, I think that you're definitely right about that. It is very important that we note that map number 1 appears to be an example of Altiora not being comfortable on, for some reason, the map that they pick. That was, that was weird. We're talking about opportunities missed, and there's a great one. Quartz could have easily gotten a free pick there at the very beginning of the round. Anyway, not to be. So yeah, no, Altiora has been doing a really excellent job of giving Mirage what for. And I for one am really happy to see that. Map number 1, as I said, not an example of Altiora's true potential.
I'd agree with that. And like I said, if Coastline had been map number 3, who knows what we would have seen. Though it definitely appears that Altiora were extremely well prepared for Villa.
Yeah.
Like very well prepared.
Are we sure?
Impressively so.
Are we sure the map selection wasn't like incorrectly stored or something? Because it just feels, it's just so weird how, like we've seen that before. The reverse when it comes to map selection, we've seen that before. Oh, what a nade! Zilchi put on a sliver of HP, but no kill, and that's crucial. Zilchi's gun is still up and will be able to engage in future fights. We can talk about this stuff later. Right now, the engagements are starting to run up for both of these teams. Ooh, Mute Jammer saving that wall from the Selma. Nade will finally get one player. It's Flynn dispatched. What are you doing, Guns? Quartz doesn't get the kill either. That's embarrassing for both of them.
Oh, he's wrestling with the couch right now. His Spirits gets punished after getting loading, one for Quartz and one for Zilchi as Eska springs into action. Won't get more than that as Zilchi is prepared. 1 HP for him, though. Gun's also quite low. Everybody except for Euphoria has taken a significant beating here in this match. But where does Euphoria go? He's trapped inside Attic right now and will need to have somebody from Mirage blink and present themselves as Guns is going to join them. Both of them are stacked up in the same position. Guns taken out by Zilchi as Zilchi's having the best map so far in this series. Euphoria in a 1v2. With how much HP Silent and Zilchi has, this is very winnable. Euphoria won't look towards White Stairs. His back is turned and Silent is there to capitalize. 5 rounds for Mirage to 2 for Altiora. And they're 2 rounds away from going to the major qualifiers.
Ooh, Quartz trying to ruffle some feathers with the smug smiley face. I love it. We'll see if that'll indeed ruffle those feathers. Altiora right now, though, definitely looking flustered. The result of that last round mirroring the result of the round before it, where there's a chance Altiora can take it. They really might actually be in the driver's seat for the round for the majority of it. But a few mistakes here and there, and Mirage manage it in the end. This is kind of like Villa, but in reverse. That's how this map feels right now.
Attackers need to locate
Man, this has been one of the strangest series of Siege I've casted in a while, Parker.
Yeah, it's really hard to get a good finger on the pulse of this matchup. The pacing is peculiar. The teams have made both teams have made a litany of mistakes that have been solved by really strong individual performances. It's been interesting.
It has, it sure has, and it's not just strategic mistakes, but we're seeing similar to individual performances where you're winning rounds. There's been individual performances where it's just like, oh man, what? But that does happen when you get to matches like this, and we're talking about either going to the major qualifier or not. This is significant for both of these teams. The benefit of playing in the qualifier for either squad is quite a lot, actually. There's a lot of experiences I've talked about at length in just getting to play in that qualifier. And who knows? Maybe you do well in the qualifier. Maybe you go to the major. There's a lot on the line here for these squads, and I think it's showing in their play. They certainly, both teams, look very shaky. No, shaky's not the right word. They look passionate. Invested. They look invested and passionate. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a bit of nerves definitely here at play, especially for Altiora. They've come tantalizingly close, and they know how important this is for them. You could see it even on the face of, I believe the player that we see is Spirits, by the way. The one that we constantly keep flashing to on camera. So you could see that it's like a weight on his shoulders, as even when they were winning rounds, there was no excitement. It was just a calm, deliberate, okay, well, we got this one. So anyway, it's a laundry supply room defense down below. Altiora focusing for now on blue as Euphoria has taken some damage, but loading almost dead. Flynn got knocked around as well. That's it for the time being. These openings that have been created are going to be tough for Mirage to get out of unless they go swinging. Ooh. And swing they shall. Quartz doing significant damage to Eska, but not enough as Sonar finds his second pick of the round. This is huge for Altiora. They desperately need a win here or else Mirage goes on to match point. Spirits with one on the loading. This is a dominating performance. It'll put Flynn and Zilchi in must-win situations in a 2v5, and they don't have the best tools for the job. Both very low ammo count in their weapons. I'm just waiting for Flynn to flinch over by blue, and now Zilchi will swing over. He's not even to catch one. A flawless round, very much possible. and will come to fruition. Altiora clawing back ever so slightly, still trailing, still on the precipice, but at least one round is the start of a comeback.
Altiora looked absolutely unwavered in that round. The way that they executed was extremely confident, knowing where their enemy was and just peeking for the fights. That was the mantra they screamed as they sprinted into the map. So well done to Altiora. Mirage, way too passive. Way too passive. They needed to, and then not passive, and then active. In the wrong moments, the worst possible moments. For example, the Jaeger trying to retake elbow, just sprinting into elbow. No. And then the Goyo chilling in the E-box. Again, no. You have to. I think it was Kate actually. But either way, it doesn't matter. Mirage choosing the wrong moment to make every possible move there. Altiora, the opposite, getting the advantage in every engagement. Now, you can say that those kinds of rounds are flukes. They do not happen continuously here, but it is going to change up the flow of this map significantly, and I think it's going to build a lot of confidence for Altiora.
Entirely agree. And also for Altiora, it comes on attack. Now, I mean, if you look at the stats, it's 5 rounds on attack versus 3 rounds on defense when it comes to wins. That's not too bad. I mean, are we looking at an attacker-sided Oregon? That was the question that we had asked ourselves. And I mean, right now, the answer is yes. Whether that trend line will continue, that would benefit Altiora. If it doesn't, then Mirage ends up winning the matchup off of it. And with it, they get the spot in the major. So we'll see what happens right now, as it is a meeting defense. We have yet to see that dining hall defense just yet. So only 3 sites appearing for Oregon. I think there's a prevailing wisdom that all 4 bomb sites on this map are very much in play. Obviously, teams are much more comfortable on meeting. A big part of that is the attic control that we tend to see. You reinforce the 2 panels on the back of the stage. You reinforce the 2 panels directly above that. In attic, you can throw 1 Electroclaw, and guess what? It covers all 4 of them. It'll be no match whatsoever for a blowtorch that cuts right through that electrified steel, though, and Altiora will take the back tower to start the round off.
Maverick tricking that wall open. Sufficient utility use there. Eska's going to be the one to try and cut off the rotation by the main lobby. He's also opened up, as you can see, one of the meeting walls. This gives you good line of sight into meeting and allows the attack to cut off the possibilities and the rotations for the defense. Loading playing close. He's going to try and get an aggressive play, it looks like. Maybe pick off Eska inside a garage. Eska is currently alone, and that won't always be the case. It's possible an attacker might rotate over to try and assist Eska. So the sooner the better there for the defense, but they might not even know that. Currently, the attack is primarily focused on the tower. 4 players over here ready to spring into action. Eska is just going to try and cut off rotation in meeting, as discussed earlier. Silent has a huge job here as he plays by the sandbags, but he's been droned out. This is not going to be an easy fight for him to win.
Tucked in the corner with somebody watching the drone hole, which is going to be Sonar, and Silent very wisely moves over, hits the deck, and we'll see if somebody can pressure him. Sonar taking a bunch of damage from that gas canister, and it will linger. Now Guns will have to run through it and lose HP in the process as well. Altiora also pushing through the main lobby, so they've got a good crossfire holding down on meeting. They'll engage over to Flynn, who will thank his lucky stars as he somehow manages to stay alive. The evil eye inside of meeting will continue to call out the positions for Altiora. Down Flynn goes, so at first pick. And in fact, every single opening duel for Altiora has been won on attack. Not too bad. Diffuser drop looked like it had been trying for a plant. The Kaid will swing, lose the fight to Guns. Sonar should have no problem getting this down. This match is incredibly tight. Could we see another flawless round? Yes! 2 flawless rounds in a row for Altiora. By Jove, they look so good now. And this match has certainly tightened up.
Jeez. I mean, so many things going wrong there for Mirage. First of all, Flynn being the first pick, that is the worst case scenario. That's your smoke. He's supposed to deny the plant on the stage. Then the C4 comes into play for Mirage. But what happened? Well, the smoke dies. And then for some reason, your Cade playing sandbags is throwing his C4 before he even hears the plant. I know that there's a lot of things going on, guns rattling off, smokes and explosions, yada yada. But I didn't hear a plant. I didn't see a plant. He must not have heard a plant. I mean, that was a bad call there. That was a wasted C4. It needed to be used to at least pick off the planter. Now, granted, it's probably going to get shot mid-air, but still, the C4 didn't... It amounted to nothing because it was poorly timed. And then also, yeah, we can't forget about the pick. Flynn dying, that was huge. Altiora had a huge window of opportunity off of that. Altiora also opening up the attic, allowing them to, at least delay the inevitable push into attic from the defense. And when the attic push came out, it actually ended up being the final kill there for Altiora. So, well played to Altiora. They picked that defense apart, but Mirage kind of let them.
I mean, you talked about how motivating and how much of a confidence boost that would be in round number 8, with the round that Altiora won on. They haven't allowed Mirage a kill in 7 minutes now.
Yeah.
So this obviously boding well for Altiora's attack. The problem is that Altiora's got so much ground to make up because Mirage is sitting 1 round away from match point. If Mirage ends up breaking their momentum right now, that's match point, and that makes things obviously a lot more difficult for Altiora to try to hang on to. That's not exactly where they want to be. So Mirage will be defending downstairs in laundry supply room, but their spread is quite heavy up top, actually, is they're going to be playing the back tower, and they're going to be playing what appeared to be over by security, because that was the Jaeger playing out of that spot of loading, but he is... Oh, he's gone. He's now downstairs by the A-bomb, so he's fallen off.
Yeah,
Tried to waste time, engage in a fight, and realized that, like Flynn on the previous round, you don't want to give your life away for nothing.
He's playing it safe. And I think that's kind of the, I guess you could call it the doctrine of Mirage right now. They are playing it very safe. And I think it's actually kind of, it's been working against them. To put it bluntly, Mirage needs to be more, not assertive, but they need to not allow themselves to get bullied and pushed into corners so easily, so readily, as Altiora have been doing. So we come very close to Mirage actually winning this. It almost feels like Altiora is the team in the lead, despite them being 1 round down, based on the last few rounds. It's just the performance we're seeing from Altiora is substantially better. Shields placed there to try and slow down the freezer take, and a C4 from Zilchi will get sonar. He's still inside a freezer, and that could be a huge boost of confidence to Mirage as we get ever closer to the potential end of this round. Second C4 will miss, though, so at least some utility wasted there.
Spirit's looking to try to take out the evil eye. He might be fruitlessly shooting those ash charges in, but it looks like it will connect, at least for now, as loading loses some of the wall next to him. Flynn has the angle behind loading, as this A-bomb site is virtually untouchable when it comes to the attackers. Spirits and guns waiting for the call inside of freezer, as Eska will drone in for them, and now Euphoria's gadget will also head in that direction, giving away as much information as possible. Zilchi gets droned down, and he's going to be under pressure. Loading can swing in and help whenever he wants. Zilchi prone, waiting. If the drone skates by, this could pose a problem. Silent taking some damage, but so does Spirits, as there's only about 10 seconds left for them to wrestle with, and they're going to be buried inside a freezer, stopped in their tracks. Eska goes down, and it's a flawless round for Mirage now. 3 flawless rounds in a row, 2 for Altiora, 1 for Mirage, and it's match point for Mirage off that round.
Man. Well, when the dominoes fall, they really do collapse. I mean, it's been one-sided for both teams, no matter the situations. And yeah, match point, series point. It feels like these teams have been going for all 12 rounds, and we're here at what could be the very end. I have confidence in Altiora to bring this to overtime, but they still face the daunting prospect of attack on Oregon. And more importantly, it's a kids' dorms defense for Mirage. This is notorious as being one of the best sites on this map, along with the bottom floor that was just defended by Mirage. So
locate
It is not going to be easy for Altiora to bring this to OT. It is possible, just very, very close, if at all.
A
Now-
Herculean task, Michael.
That is the way you can put it, yeah. It is one of the ways you can put it.
attackers have discovered the location.
It's the way that you put it.
That is the way I put it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you said that.
yes, I often say that actually.
Yes. Monumental effort. A large hurdle. That's one that I use a lot.
10 seconds remaining.
Anyway,
Significant task.
you trying to alliterate now?
Tall mountain
Oh my goodness.
to climb.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
The Mount Everest of Canada.
Okay.
They farm maple syrup on the peak. Silent challenging small tower here. He's just trying to delay. He wants Altiora to work for it. That's all that he's really doing. And also trying to stay alive as he retreats.
He droned out a castle barricade stopping his return to the bomb site as both he and Zilchi are going to play down below, but they have an expressway back to the main lobby that's going to be through the wall into meeting. On the hunt is Altiora to try to determine the location. Spirit's playing off of one of these bullet holes, but doesn't look like he can see too much. Well, that's a hollow for sure. And then, you know what? I don't hate it, actually.
What do you not hate, Parker?
I don't hate that hollow, by the way.
I know I don't either. I don't mind. Because they fixed it originally. And I think what caused a lot of hate was when it first was announced and put on the TS. It had a massive dot, and they made it smaller. So I like it.
Exactly.
I would use it if I could.
Yeah.
It's not
Anyway.
on-
Altiora once again trying Ying. They tried her on the previous round. Down in Laundry did not work out very well. Sonar on the Maverick is going to gun down loading, and they get that first pick and a bit of breathing room. The Maestro also gone is huge because those Evil Eye cams cannot do anything except for just simply exist. Additionally, you know how powerful the Alda can be when looking on this bomb site. So Flynn will have to expend his gas canisters much earlier as they feel the heat coming. Zilchi will be the one to watch. White stairs right now. Silent heading on back up, it looks like, but he's down below. He'll get flashed, and he'll lose a chunk of change as Spirits was on the hunt. They'll leave the Jaeger for now, realizing that with a minute left, they only have 3 to face on the bomb site. But they'll lose the engagement, and Spirits gets downed. There's no impact grenades from the castle to be able to clean up on this. So the only way he'll be able to stop Spirits from getting picked back up is if he swings. Won't be able to do it. It was an opportunity for Silent to maybe capitalize off of it, as now Euphoria loses some HP. Flynn gets one on Eska, Guns goes down, Spirits refrags down below, and will now come back up White Stairs from where he was punished earlier on, expending all of his ammo in the process as Zilchi's shots completely miss. Altiora and Mirage boasted a 3v3 stalemate, but Zilchi, looking to light up some damage, has to be very wary of the top of White Stairs. Spirits gets one before Zilchi can finish him off. They'll have to cover as the diffuser is going down. Euphoria's job is to watch it, and he'll do a great job, but Quartz gets one. He's in a clutch moment, looking to the left. Pistol out, he'll have to contend against the Maverick. They both lose a bit of HP as Quartz now goes for the primary. Sonar on the ground, watching over that diffuser as the clock is burning away. Neither really knowing the position. Outswings Quartz. He's a clutch, and with it, Mirage will go to the mini major. Congratulations, the qualifiers are yours. You'll see if you can get a spot in that major.
Well played there to Quartz. Well played to Mirage. GG's come out in the chat, and what a hectic end to a hectic map. It went all 3 maps, and well, the first 2 were blowouts, but the third one sure did deliver. That's darn tootin'. So we'll bring Jackie into the conversation as we talk about what just happened.
Yep, mini major quals for Mirage again. We can't hear Jackie.
But
No, what? Oh my gosh. Okay, I was not muted, and then they told me I was muted, and then I muted myself again.
maybe
here
you're
now.
muted somewhere else. Like there's
don't
like
know,
3 different things
man.
we have to mute.
I mean, I might have double pressed. Anyway, moving on. I'm unmuted now, and that was quite the series overall. That last map was a dogfight. I think both of you agreed that this was one of the stranger series that y'all have witnessed, right?
Absolutely.
I think that you guys talked about pacing oddities, weird mistakes. So, Intero, why was this one so chaotic and atypical?
I mean, I think some of it just stems from the fact that they don't really know their full strats just yet. I mean, as practiced as Mirage may be, there was still a lot of uncertainty and confusion on their part. I mean, there were a lot of hero plays being made by Quartz. We saw in the very first map lots of hero plays being made from loading. We saw some desperate attempts from both Flynn, Zilchi, and Silent, though much less so. But I think that just boils down to the strats being worked upon. These teams don't have a ton of history with each other, right? We only play a tiny number of matches here in the Canada division, and that's it. You know, so it's really challenging to get to know your opponents, especially when teams that are in the same side of the brackets or the same groups oftentimes will not scrim each other because they don't want to give anything away. They want to save it for the matchup. So it's very possible that Mirage is not even scrimming Canada division teams. Ditto with Altiorus. They have no prep other than what's shown on the VOD footage. In which case, like I said, I had to commend Altiora for how prepared they seemed to be on Villa. But outside of that, it was a frag fest on most of these maps. There was obviously default strategies being brought out on both Coastline and Oregon, but I didn't really see anything that was new or earth-shattering from either of these teams.
Okay, so I think Altiora definitely gave Mirage a better match than we were all expecting.
Yes.
But I do agree with all of you that it does kind of seem like the bottom three teams are competing for second place. So, Kix, what do these teams need to do to try to catch up with Mirage? I mean, I don't even know if there's really a distinct answer to that. From Intero's answer, it just seems like everything's kind of all over the board right now anyway, but I guess what's your opinion on that?
Well, Altiora just proved that Mirage is not so far removed from everybody else. They came very close to winning that series, and as we established as we have established in assessing these teams through Stage 2, Altiora is not so far removed from all of the other teams in the Canadian division. So, while Altiora did not win here, they certainly made Mirage visibly stumble. And that means it's closer than we thought. I think all of these teams in the Canadian division, in order to get to that top spot, they just need to keep chugging. They just need to keep moving along the path they're on right now, because Altiora did a great job here today. I expect them to get better based on the result of this match, even though they were clearly upset with it, having left the lobby before we even got a chance to look at their stats. And I think that the rest of the Canadian division will continue to grow, continue to flourish. And yeah, Mirage is number one right now, but how long will that last is the real question. I don't know I'm not so confident about the answer anymore. I thought it would be a pretty long time. Today, though, might prove that wrong.
Yeah, Altiora very impressive today, and as you said, probably pretty down about the loss, but I do want to talk about Mirage and what they're thinking moving ahead. I mean, I'm sure this scared them a little bit, and we did talk about potentially some mental break happening there. So what do you think they're going to do for the NA qualifier? How are they going to start prepping for this mentally, strategy-wise, everything, Intero?
Well, it's going to be what? It's going to be SSG, DG, Sonics, and Mirage should be in the quals. I mean, you're going to have to go up against Space Station. That's going to be a tough one for all the teams. Doesn't matter who you are. I mean, everybody's going to be looking at Space Station as the odds-on favorite because a major happening without SSG right now seems to be unthinkable. And I mean, no shade thrown to the Sonics or Disrupt, but there's nothing that we've seen so far this season that would suggest that either of them are going to be able to get the leg up over SSG. Mirage, I think, is in a position where they are aware that the likelihood of them making the major is slim to none. And they know that, and I think they'd be very comfortable admitting that. What the major does is it allows you in-game, in-match experience that scrims cannot give you. Teams have players that show up big in scrims and then go completely quiet in matches. Teams dry run things in scrims that they don't do elsewhere to see if things will stick and then never end up using it in an actual matchup because everything is on the line when a big match is being played, whereas scrims, the stakes are non-existent because your goal is to learn and your goal is to improve. So what can Mirage do for the qualifiers? I mean, best prepare themselves to learn from their opponents and put themselves in a position where they're going to gain the most knowledge and experience from those matches, regardless of where they end up landing.
Okay, Intero, thank you so much. Kix, we are ready for our interview, though. I believe Flynn is on deck. Congrats on your victory, Flynn. Intero,
Thank you, Jackie.
Nice.
Thank you,
Don't
everybody.
boo him.
Yeah, Parky, you're the same you. I love you.
Okay, see, Parker boos you, and you just respond with positivity. I love it, Flynn. Okay, Parker's making commentary in the background, but moving on, definitely want to talk to you about this win. Such a great victory, and you all are going to the qualifier again. Just tell me, how are you feeling? I'm sure you're ecstatic.
Oh, very ecstatic, and you got to give hats off to Altiora. That Villa map. Villa's another map that we consider to be good, and once again, Villa gets thrown on the head by some very good play from Altiora. So hats off to them for that map, the whole game, honestly, entirely. Honestly, it just feels good to be vindicated, to be back on top where we were last stage, and know that all the progress and all the effort we've put in has turned out some serious results.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk to you about Map 2. Kix and Intero saying that was one of the stranger series that they have witnessed. And I definitely think it seemed like there was something going on in Map 2. I'm not sure if it was mentally or strategy-wise. I just want to hear from your perspective what you think went down in Map 2.
Map 2, I think Altiora just started flexing their muscles a little bit. They start getting a little bit looser. They start peeking stuff that they weren't in Map 1. They start just moving around the map more, just constantly being a presence. And when they have that much map control, and it's always floating, they never really stick in one spot. It's tough to track them down, and Villa's a very deceptively large map. So I think they were better on the roam game today. We couldn't stop it, and we just had to come out stronger on Oregon.
So tell me, when you went into Map 3, what was the mindset? How did you all reset? Because that did seem to shake you a little bit, but then it did seem like you recovered in Map 3.
Yeah. Map 3, again, it's the same story every time, every round. It's a mental reset. The whole team just needs to focus on doing your job, right? Just go in there, do your job, execute. We've practiced this for hours upon hours upon hours. If you can't execute on game day, then what's it all for?
All right. And so how do you think y'all are going to do at the qualifier? What are your goals?
Okay, yeah, the SSG game off rip is going to be fun. And like Parker said, yeah, the ability to make the major may be a little hampered by SSG's presence. But also, like he said, that valuable experience to be able to play on game day against SSG, that's a very different world. Those are the reigning world champions, and they may have stumbled for a moment, but we haven't forgot what they are.
All right. Well, Flynn, go enjoy that victory, and thank you so much for speaking with us.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jackie, and have a great night.
You too. All right, let's bring it back to Kix and Intero. Intero, you booed him before his interview.
How funny was it?
I was actually going to ask you, what do you call him again? You're always like, disgrace.
I called him a disgraced caster. No, he missed. He's going to go back and rewatch the VOD. I don't know if he can still hear me right now. But when I said that, he's wearing the same thing he wore at the SI groups because he's in a hoodie. And I know he's going to find that enjoyable when he goes back to rewatch the VOD, because the last time that they casted him, he sent me a couple messages after he was rewatching the VOD, and he's just like, I missed you. I love Flynn. I absolutely love Flynn. There's no maliciousness behind those words.
No, you guys are just...
We're good pals.
Besties. You're besties. You're BFFs. Oh my goodness. But our producer keeps on yelling at me. She's like, get to the play of the day. So what do you guys think the Corsair play of the day? Something with Eska? I don't know. What are y'all thinking?
Yeah, it's probably, Michael, it's probably going to be like Eska or Quartz's 4Ks.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Quartz too.
Could be Quartz winning the match at the end there, because I mean, it wasn't, he didn't get like a crazy amount of kills there, but it was a really important round.
Okay, well, let's roll the Corsair play of the day. And Quartz or Eska? Quartz or Eska? Quartz or Eska? And...
Yeah, so it's Quartz winning the match.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, he didn't
Yeah,
get Go ahead.
I was going to say, he didn't win the match, but he won the round.
Yeah, and I mean, he basically won, like, he solidified it, and, you know, as you can see, Flynn was very happy about that, so.
That's... my jaw was dropped when we came back on camera. I was like...
His jaw was dropped, too.
Yeah.
Play of the day is Flynn becoming a werewolf.
Apparently. Yeah, I was like, that was more than happy. Kixon is like, Kick's tone was like, and obviously Flynn very happy there. And then you just see him like screaming. Anyway, okay, so let's move into the bracket, gentlemen. And today's loser will be playing Livid to determine second and third place. So Altiora probably prepping for that. Hey,
I was trying to hoist the bracket. But
There
wasn't.
it is.
The bracket was not being
Yeah.
hoist.
Yeah.
Production
Bracket
done.
It's on
has
your
been
screen
hoisted.
now, so now we know.
Yeah,
So basically,
there we go.
yeah, Altiora versus Livid. That's gonna be a banger.
Yes. I am actually, we were talking about that at the beginning of Villa, or was it Coastline?
I don't remember. It was in the middle of the last match, of course.
Yeah. So there's your schedule. Next
Woo.
Friday, we're gonna have Altiora
Yes.
versus Livid. I am extremely excited for that one. It starts at 3:15 PST, 6:15 Eastern. Eastern, of course, the superior time zone for everybody that's watching
Yeah.
at home.
Wait, what?
And then we have a bunch of U.S. division action coming up next week. Wait, what was what?
Just call it the Eastern time zone superior.
Yes, I did.
What?
I did indeed
Why?
go with that because I'm in Eastern time.
Okay.
I think Kix and I nay vote that, but
Yeah.
okay. Anyways, our producer's like, please wrap it up. So, big thank you to Kixon and Taro and Mel, my favorite caster of all time. Big thank you to everybody behind the scenes. Love you to pieces. And obviously, a big thank you to all of you watching. We appreciate y'all so much. So, have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week. Tons of U.S. Division, Canadian Division action. So, we'll see you then. Bye.
Defender has left the area of operation.